All right, we are we are live. Right, okay. Well, I'm ahead of schedule. The Josh Taylor Jack Catterall fight has not started yet. For those of you who are just tuning in, um, I think it is the penultimate fight currently, which hasn't started yet either, but is about to start soon, which is a fight between Nick Campbell and Jay Mcfarlane. I'm just gonna pluck up the details regarding these two fighters because um, I haven't actually come across them, but maybe it'll be an interesting scrap. Let's see. So Nick Campbell, 4 fights, 4 wins, no losses, no draws, which obviously pretty good. Jay Mcfarlane, 12 wins, 5 losses. Okay. It looks like Nick Campbell is 32. Interesting, and Jay is 23. All right, interesting fight. It looks like it's a heavyweight fight as well. Um, yeah, for the vacant BBB of C Scottish area heavy title. Interesting. So it's quite. I guess it's quite domestic. Makes sense. Obviously, they're fighting in Scotland. Which is the hometown of Josh Taylor himself. Well, in terms of home country. So yeah, it makes sense for them to throw in some very interesting Scottish scraps and high-level fights. Of course, for some reason, I have a feeling this is going to be quite a um, less of a technical fight, maybe more of a brawl. But who knows? There might be some cute technical fighting in this particular fight, but I have a feeling from just watching some of the initial lead ups for this penultimate fight that it um, might be a fight that turns into less of a technical fight quite early on. But we'll see if that's the case. So yeah, Jay Mcfarlane. He's 6'3" with a 73-inch reach. Okay, and then we've got Campbell, who is 6'7", quite a significant height advantage there. And they don't have details about what his reach is for the on BoxRec. But I mean, if I had to have a bet on who would win, I assume that if Campbell boxes well, he might win. I mean, he's got probably less experience than Mcfarlane, but he's got a better track record so far. It looks like he's got a height advantage. He is quite a bit older, but I have a feeling he probably has a better chance. Although that being said, in terms of the ratings, if you compare both of their ratings, Mcfarlane actually has an advantage. He's ranked according to BoxRec 16th out of 52 in the UK, whereas Campbell is ranked 23rd out of 52. Campbell started his professional boxing career, it seems, in January, March, April. Yeah, January, March, April 2021. So very recently, whereas Mcfarlane seems to have started his career quite a while back in 2016. So definitely has more experience from a professional boxing point of view. Mcfarlane does compared to Campbell. But let's see how this fight goes. Looks quite interesting. I like how Jay Mcfarlane's come out with a cap and he's got a kilt-styled boxing shorts on. He seems like quite the lad. He's tatted up all over. Might be the crowd favorite. So we got FS saying, "Who do you think wins the main event?" Okay, I'll come back to that shortly. And then Sean is saying, "What time's the main event, bro?" So the main event should probably be the next, I would say, no more than half an hour. So currently we're on the final fight before the main event, as far as I'm aware. The penultimate fight, which is between Nick Campbell and Jay Mcfarlane. I assume it's gonna be it's a 10-round fight. So let's assume that this fight is going to be over within the next half an hour. So I suspect the main fight will probably start within the next half an hour, mate. So FS says, who do you think wins the main event? So I'm in short, and I can go into more analysis after the end of this fight because it looks like this fight's about to start, and I might as well commentate this just to get back into the swing of things. In short, I think Josh Taylor will win the main event fight. He just seems to have more experience and just seems to come across more confident. He's obviously got more experience on the world stage as well. But we'll see. It's bound to be an interesting fight. All right, so we got the penultimate fight, as far as I'm aware, the penultimate fight on just started, and both fighters, Mcfarlane and Campbell, just in the center of the ring, initially tying each other up. Mcfarlane swooping down quite a lot to try and throw some overhands that isn't particularly effective. Campbell seems to have contained Mcfarlane for now. He's just assumed the center of the ring, and he's just starting to throw some jabs, not particularly effective at this stage, but a nice 1-2 there though by Campbell. And I have a feeling Mcfarlane's probably come straight into this fight swinging, trying to go for the knockout. Although he's only got a 29% knockout ratio, but I assume his tactic is to slug. It looks like that's kind of what he's trying to do. FS with a comment, thoughts on Mcfarlane's hair. So yeah, Mcfarlane is currently sporting kind of he's dyed his hair green. Looks flashy. I think it's pretty interesting, pretty stylish. It must be part of his general image. I'm sure the crowd is probably backing him. He just seems like the crowd favorite, although he may not be necessarily the favorite to win this fight necessarily. So yeah, Campbell throwing some nice jabs. Mcfarlane again trying to just leap in, but getting tied up by Campbell. Campbell trying to throw a right, just misses. Mcfarlane with a massive right that he tries to throw, and that misses as well. Matthew saying these undercards have become so dire. Yeah, I mean, well, this is an interesting penultimate fight undercard. I have a feeling it must be a fan favorite for the Scottish fans, maybe. But it doesn't look particularly exciting necessarily from a boxing brains point of view, from an analysis point of view, technical point of view. It looks quite brawly right now, and both fighters currently clinching themselves. Clinching in the middle of the ring. Referee coming in to break the fighters up, and yeah, both fighters in the middle of the ring right now. A left hook thrown by Mcfarlane that's wild and misses. And Mcfarlane trying his best to throw as many kind of hooks as he can, coming forwards, keeping low because of the height disadvantage as well. And yeah, Campbell, to be honest, getting the better of those two exchanges, just seems to land more shots, and he's doing a better job trying to box the fight. So that's the end of round one. I'd probably give that round to Campbell. And yeah, some bad blood after the end of that first round with Mcfarlane kind of squaring up to Campbell and having a little exchange with him. Who knows? Just checking some of the comments. FS saying Matthew, it's Sky. Oh yeah, FS just responding to Matthew's comments about these undercards being so dire, saying that DAZN's undercards are better in his opinion. Yeah, maybe that's the case. DAZN has made some serious moves over time. They're doing pretty well for what they are, and pretty decent subscription fee, to be fair. And round two is underway between Mcfarlane and Campbell here. This brawl of a heavyweight fight in Scotland. And yeah, Campbell doing a better job of just trying to work his jab. Oh, stiff right thrown by Campbell, which I think just brushes Mcfarlane, but must have had a slight impact there. It wasn't off. It just wasn't fully on target. Oh, and a nice right thrown by Campbell. And Mcfarlane tying Campbell up. He doesn't look in a good state, Mcfarlane, to be honest. It looks like he could potentially. I'm not saying he might go quite early, but he doesn't look in the best state. And I think Campbell realizing that coming forwards, not really having as much respect for Mcfarlane's power, perhaps. And yeah, Mcfarlane just clinching Campbell. Referee breaking up the two fighters. Or a stiff right thrown by Campbell there. And yeah, Mcfarlane again tying up Campbell. I have a feeling Mcfarlane is maybe trying to muster up some energy for some big shots that he's been trying to throw, although to not as much effect as he may have wanted. It looks like Campbell's doing a very good job of just boxing very intelligently. Oh, and he doesn't look very well, to be honest. Mcfarlane does not look well. He's eating a bunch of 1-2s there by Campbell. I'm not sure how much power Campbell is carrying, but it looks like he's certainly throwing some stinging shots. And there's a bunch of interesting comments that I can see right now, but one thing that I want to skip to is this. It's Matthew's comment again about how embarrassing these undercards are, and how did the British Board of Control allow these guys to fight? I think it's an interesting scrap. It's not for the boxing nerds. I don't think it must be entertaining for the Scots peoples though. Two Scottish fighters fighting in Scotland. They might as well have for the penultimate fight, two Scotsmen fighting. 10 seconds left of this second round, and without doubt, Campbell's had the better of these exchanges here. And Mcfarlane, at points, looking like he wasn't really doing very well, and a lot of these punches were stinging him. And you can see he's got some bruising already, slight bruising, Mcfarlane, around the eyes. So not in a particularly good state, and without a doubt, I would give that a 10-9 round to Campbell again. So if these two rounds are any indication of how the rest of the fight is going to go, then without a doubt, I would probably assume that. I would assume that Campbell will convincingly win this fight, but we'll see. We'll see what Mcfarlane produces. I mean, looking at BoxRec like I was looking at it previously, just some highlights being shown of that second round, by the way. There were points where Mcfarlane was almost looking at his corner in confusion and wincing quite a lot. So, I mean, I don't think he's got much in him. But as I was saying, to finish my earlier thought, Mcfarlane with a 29% knockout ratio is very, very low. And Campbell actually with a 100% knockout ratio, even though he's had 4 fights. It's probably a good indication of where this fight is headed. But we'll see. We'll see if there's something that Mcfarlane can bring out into this fight as we enter into round 3 of this truly exciting brawl between these two. And I assume a brawl that will be quite contrasted to the main fight, which will be, I would assume, largely technical in nature. We got Mcfarlane kind of trying to walk down Campbell, but it's not really being very successful. Trying to get low, trying to maybe stay out of Campbell's reach with how much of a height advantage Campbell has. Maybe if Mcfarlane gets low enough, he can throw a few shots that Campbell might struggle with, or try and dodge some of these stiff jabs that Campbell's landing in many cases. Mcfarlane just touching the ropes there to try and stay upright. And with 2 minutes left this third round, you can't help but think that if Mcfarlane is unable to produce very much, and you can see there's blood, I believe, streaming down the nose of Mcfarlane now, then it looks like Campbell will probably start dismantling him over the next few rounds and probably land a KO or TKO. That's my current prediction. And Mcfarlane throwing a punch on the clinch just then to Campbell's dissatisfaction. Just some exchanges in the center of the ring. Campbell with a nice right hook. Oh, and another right thrown by Campbell. Mcfarlane just trying to Mcfarlane with a 1-2 to Campbell's body, but you can just there's not really much power behind that, and you can only think how long he's got left, and he just looks gassed out, to be perfectly honest. Mcfarlane, he is still coming forward, but he just looks quite gassed out. You wonder if any of his punches are going to have much impact, to be perfectly fair. Campbell looks slightly tired, but he's still looking very sharp. Mcfarlane trying to lean on Campbell, trying to tire him out as much as he possibly can. But there's certainly blood streaming through the nose of Mcfarlane, and his face is kind of smudged with blood right now. And there's about 10 seconds left of this third round. A very good round for Campbell. And that's the end of that third round. It's a 10-9 round again, in my opinion, for Campbell. Yeah, I don't think there's much traffic going the other way. I suspect this fight will be ended before we hit the 10 rounds. If it isn't, then props to Mcfarlane for staying in the fight this long. How you guys scoring this one? I think it's quite a one-sided fight, to be honest. I know, as Matthew's suggesting, it's not the type of entertainment value that maybe some of the viewers who are looking to watch the Taylor Catterall fight are expecting as a penultimate undercard fight. But hey ho, is what it is. And yeah, Sky just showing some slow mos there. A nice 1-2 that was thrown by Campbell, which obviously landed, and obviously the combination of punches that Campbell's been thrown over these past fights has done enough to cause some bleeding to Mcfarlane's nose. Fourth round is underway, guys. Mcfarlane throwing a jab. Oh, Campbell with a nice right, and Mcfarlane just eats it and smiles back at him. But that's not really going to do very much. He really needs to pick up the pace here. I think Mcfarlane will try something new, but he always finds himself getting beaten to the punch by Campbell, and he sustained most of the damage. Both fighters currently clinching. Bit of inside fighting. They managed to work themselves out with a bunch of combinations thrown by Campbell. Not particularly powerful, but they do land. Stiff left thrown by Campbell. Mcfarlane trying to come forward. Tried a left hook, didn't work though. Campbell just about got out of the way. Another left hook thrown by Mcfarlane, didn't work. Campbell managing to avoid that. Looks more focused this time, Mcfarlane. And yeah, Mcfarlane trying to lean over Campbell. Referee breaks up the two fighters, who then find themselves in the center of the ring again. Oh, overhand right thrown by Mcfarlane, which was a pretty good shot, but looks like Campbell's perfectly fine, and he's really happy actually just working on the inside Campbell and throws some nice uppercuts. Not necessarily landing flush, but sure did a bit of damage, followed by a left hook thrown by Campbell. And Mcfarlane again just slowly trying to walk Campbell back, but just finding himself eating a bunch of punches in the process. A quick 1-2 thrown by Campbell, and Mcfarlane just smiles back at him. Hey Harris, I'm not sure if Azan will be joining. Unfortunately, I think you might be stuck with just me this evening. He may, but I have a feeling it might just be me. The the main fight will probably start within the next 25 to 30 minutes, I would suspect. I think we're on the penultimate fight, which is Campbell versus Mcfarlane. Nice left hook actually thrown by Mcfarlane, who looked like he had a bit of success and started throwing a bunch of successive punches, but Campbell doing the right thing, tying him up. Nice bit of success, actually. I thought Mcfarlane was gassing himself out. Oh, a nice 1-2 thrown by Mcfarlane as well. He's quite the juggernaut, to be honest. He just keeps coming forward, Mcfarlane, despite the punishment that he's sustaining. You can't help but think he's probably losing on the cards. But I had some really nice exchanges at the end of this fourth round. That's the end of the fourth round. I think I will give that to. You know what? Let's add a bit of controversy to it and just give that to Mcfarlane as a 10-9. So I've got Campbell up by 3, but I might as well give that to Mcfarlane there. Matthew saying credit to Mcfarlane, whatever deep fried food he's on, it's kept him honest in the fight. Yeah, yeah. For those of you who aren't watching but just listening, who aren't watching the fight directly, Mcfarlane is definitely coming into this heavyweight fight pretty heavy. And Campbell looking much sharper, but still managed to stay on his feet, Mcfarlane, and props to him. And yeah, that's correct, Matthew. I think responding to Harris there, main event should start between 10 to 10:30. So, that's actually. That's later than I suspected. I had thought this was the penultimate fight, but maybe it's not. I assume it is the penultimate fight. I was reading on Sky News and so on that the earliest time that they'd walk out on different newspapers was 8:40, the main fight, and obviously we're 8:52. So I would assume the next fight is the main fight. But if there is another undercard, then fair dues. We'll commentate that one as well. 5th round is currently underway. And a nice left hook thrown by Mcfarlane, but he's met with another by Campbell. Mcfarlane trying the overhand right, doesn't work, but maybe uses some of that time to try and get onto the inside. Only finds himself getting out punched on the inside and works his way out of it. Ooh, nice right hook thrown by Mcfarlane, to be fair. I mean, he's got an interesting style. He's dipping a lot and then trying a few hooks and overhands. Appears to be his fighting style. And it does have some success sometimes, but he is definitely getting beaten to the punch in many cases. Doesn't stop him trying to walk Campbell down, though. Continues to come forward. Quite the chin. Especially given Campbell's 100% knockout ratio. He has taken a lot of damage, Mcfarlane. And he's having a better round, to be fair, Mcfarlane. Campbell coming back, though, with a stiff right. Mcfarlane again trying to walk him down and then leaning onto Campbell to try and tire him out using all that body weight that he has. Less than a minute left this 5th round. Oh, Mcfarlane with a nice right hook. And yeah, both fighters just clinching. Campbell works his way out of the clinch. Tries to throw a few punches, doesn't work. Doesn't really connect. And Mcfarlane, again, just walking Campbell back. He's having a slightly... Oh, he caught flush, though. Oh, some really strong right hands thrown by Campbell. Just as I was about to say, Mcfarlane was having a better fight. But, oh, my God, another right hand that lands flush there. And, you know, from what was initially supposed to be a decent round for Mcfarlane, actually, he was having some success. By the end of the fight, my God, he ate about 4 or 5 right hands, stiff right hands. And the blood comes pouring back. And he does not look in a very good shape, to be honest. There's blood still streaming down Mcfarlane's nose, and there's some, you can see visible damage around the left eye. Not ideal, not what he wants. And, you know, maybe the doctors will have a look at that around the next round. But yeah, just some slow-mos. There's some really stiff rights thrown by Campbell, and Mcfarlane ate them. He did eat them, but I mean, it's going to take its toll. I mean, he really should have lifted his hands there, Mcfarlane. He got punched by a stiff right and then kept his hands down and opened himself up for another one. So that was round 5, and that's obviously a 10-9 to Campbell in my view. We're moving on to round 6. You can just feel the consistent pressure that Campbell's applying now. And it should just be a matter of time, especially after eating that many strong, stiff rights at the latter half of the last round. Round 6 is underway. He's having real success with the right hand, Campbell, and he just lands again. And a right hook thrown by Campbell. And another right as Mcfarlane tries to come in, followed by an uppercut, a right. 2 rights that miss, a third that just brushes. Oh, he's going in with a bunch of jabs and hooks there, Campbell, and didn't really have much success. But you can see he's trying to put punches together now, trying to throw a few combinations, getting much more comfortable in this fight. He has a feeling, I'm sure, that he's nearly there, and it won't take very much before Mcfarlane is on his back. And a short right thrown by Campbell, and a 1-2. And you got Mcfarlane against the ropes right now. A stiff right thrown by Campbell. I'm sure the referee is looking at this very, very closely. He's just checking. 1 minute 30 left of this 6th round. And Campbell is going for blood for sure. He is pushing forward. He wants to get Mcfarlane out of there ASAP. Is that Kell Brook in the? There's Kell Brook in the crowd there in the back. I've just noticed him. Oh, interesting. Why are they cracking up? I see Kell Brook and a few others in the crowd just cracking up while watching this fight. Anyway, 1 minute left of this 6th round. I'm sure it's providing entertainment value, even if it isn't a top tier fight. So yeah. 45 seconds left of this 6th round. Oh, and a nice shot to the body by Mcfarlane, but he really looks very tired out there, Mcfarlane. I don't know if he can survive the next 4 rounds. He looks kind of out of it at this point. Campbell just needs to land a few stiff punches, continue doing what he's doing, stay out of harm's way, because obviously Mcfarlane will still keep coming forwards. But if Campbell just keeps picking his punches, I'm sure he'll be able to achieve a KO, a TKO victory. I feel like Mcfarlane's probably gassed out at this point. Ooh, Campbell with a stiff right, followed by 2 lefts, and then a right that just wildly misses. That's the end of that 6th round. It's a 10-9 to Campbell again. So yeah, on this scorecard, I'm pretty sure Campbell's secured this fight. It's just he probably wants a knockout, doesn't he, to maintain his 100% knockout ratio, which will obviously be great for his resume, especially given how old he is in the context of how many professional fights he's had. He probably wants to rise in the ranks as quickly as he can in terms of his professional career, and probably wants to maintain that 100% knockout ratio. It would be good for promotional purposes, I'm sure. And if he wins this, he wins the vacant BBBFC Scottish Area Heavy title, which I'm sure will lead to bigger and brighter things and more stiff competition compared to Mcfarlane. Not to try and write off Mcfarlane, he's still in the fight, but only just, I would think. Just looking at that bruising under his left eye again. And round 7 is underway. And a nice 1-2 by Campbell. Oh, really bad overhand right thrown by Mcfarlane, which wildly misses, and Campbell just quickly comes back with his own punch, and Mcfarlane goes down. He has managed to get up though, but very, very easy for him to fall down there. There's 2 minutes 20 seconds left of this round. I think Campbell's going to try and finish it off in this round. It's already a 10-8. He's managed to knock Mcfarlane down. I think the referee's going to stop in. I have a feeling he's going to stop in. If Mcfarlane doesn't go down, he's taking a lot of damage, and he is coming forward. But oh my god, a right and another right and a left. Combinations being thrown by Campbell right now. He really wants to get Mcfarlane out of this fight. He really wants to get rid of the man. A strong right hook and another right thrown by Campbell. And another right. Mcfarlane, what a heart. What a heart that he's got to still be on his feet. 1 minute 40 left. And you can only think that he probably isn't going to win this fight. He should really protect himself. I feel like the referee should step in and end this. He's taken so much damage, Mcfarlane. 1 minute 30 left of this 7th round. Campbell doesn't really want to gas himself out. That would be a bit stupid, but you can only think Mcfarlane's completely shot by this point. On a nice right hook again thrown by Campbell. Ugh. It looks like every second punch is landing now that's being thrown by Campbell here. And yeah, Mcfarlane, oh dear. Yeah, it's not ideal. Not ideal what's happening right now for Mcfarlane. I mean, he's what a brave warrior here, but my God, the amount of punishment he's taking, you just wonder, is it even worth it? 50 seconds left of this 7th round, and he's still got his wits about him, and he is trying to throw back, so it isn't really enough for the referee to stop him. But he's stopped in. He stopped the fight. TKO victory. Campbell has secured a TKO victory. Referee's seen enough. He has seen enough damage. And Campbell with a round 7 TKO victory there. Well deserved. I mean, respect between the fighters post-fight. I mean, they're quite happy. Campbell there kind of consoling Mcfarlane, just kind of telling him good fight. I see him, and yeah, oh my God, he looks completely exhausted, Campbell. Probably because he used up so much energy in that 7th round to try and get Mcfarlane out. But of course, it was worth it because he did manage to get him out through TKO. I think it was a matter of time before Mcfarlane was going to hit the canvas again. So better for the referee to step in and end the fight through TKO. I mean, Mcfarlane was sustaining so much damage in that 7th round, in my opinion. It was meant to happen. An appropriate stoppage by the ref, in my view. Yeah, he's throwing the kitchen sink. F, as you say. He's throwing everything at Mcfarlane, and every second punch was starting to land by that point. So well done to Campbell. I mean, he goes on with a continued undefeated record, 5 KO victories, 100% knockout ratio, 5 fights. Sure, that would be very good for his resume. He is, as I said, I believe 32. He's got a lot to get done. Maybe he's. I'm not sure about his past experience. I don't know whether he's at his peak or past it, or who really knows? There are some fighters who peak later on in their lives, and there's some fighters who peak very early in their lives. But you do wonder. I mean, against other top fighters, what would other top fighters have done? Would they've gotten rid of Mcfarlane much quicker? Took Campbell 7 rounds. It was nevertheless a very much one-sided fight. So not to take that away from Campbell, and maybe Mcfarlane is a really like tough cookie and difficult to beat. I'm just going to look at Mcfarlane's record in the meantime to see how often he has been stopped, and it looks like he's never been stopped by TKO or KO. So it looks like Mcfarlane was actually a very good test for Campbell, because of the fact that he seems to have never been stopped by TKO or KO before. But Campbell has managed to do that. So, he might have been quite a strong test for Campbell, who's able to test his power, go up against someone with a very stiff chin who keeps coming forwards and is difficult to get rid of in the fight. But Campbell's managed to do that. He's managed to secure a TKO victory in round 7. So that's it. Jay Mcfarlane losing to Nick Campbell by TKO. Referee stopping the fight in round number 7 in that Scottish brawl for the vacant BBB of C Scottish area heavyweight title. I'm hoping the next fight is the main fight. If it isn't, then we'll just move on to the next undercard and continue. But I really am hoping that the next fight is the main fight. We don't have to go through more of these undercards. The quality of which, as some of you have alluded to, is not the type of quality that we might expect on other boxing stream services. But of course, they had to make it. They had to throw in Scottish fights. They're fighting in Scotland. Why not? Perfect idea. Good way to provide coverage for domestic, Scottish fighters, and obviously gets the Scottish crowd going as well. I have a feeling that the next fight isn't going to be the main fight, the way that they're situated. But let's have a listen. I'm going to have a listen to Sky Sports now to see if the next fight is the main fight. Let's have a look. Sky just getting Johnny Nelson's view on that high-level elite fight between Campbell and Mcfarlane. He's just commented that there's no better upcoming heavyweight in Scotland than this man here, Campbell. So I mean, hey, looks like Campbell's probably the best. Looks like Campbell's probably the best. I've just seen that comment. Looks like Campbell is probably the best Scottish heavyweight that the Scots have got. Fair dues. Let's see how Campbell's career progresses. Hello, Sayed. Sayed. Yes, I've transformed. I live in a new home. I speak in a different way. I look different. I've lost my eyesight. I wear glasses now. And I've changed my name. No, unfortunately, Fazana is not here. I don't know if he will be joining. I'm hoping he will be joining, but I don't think he will. I might actually check if he is joining. Will you be joining? He's probably listening to the stream right now, to be honest. But I was just sending him a message. And he might not be, and if not, that's fine, of course. But no, I'll be covering this. Yeah, unfortunately, you're stuck with me for this boxing fight. I have covered fights in the past. You might have seen me in some of the other videos that we've done. Recently, I was in the Quality Shot Boxing Awards 2021 video, where we did mention Josh Taylor in there, and I think we mentioned him as potentially being the best British pound for pound fighter as one of the categories or something similar to that. So his name obviously has come up a lot in the past. And yeah, it's just checking there. Yeah, it looks like he won't be joining us. Fazan won't be joining us, which is fine. So yeah, you might have seen me on some of the other videos. Hey, so thank you very much, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, it's going to be a good fight. See, you said well domination. That's probably true. I mean, my view, and kind of coming back to some of the comments that we received earlier on in this stream, was what's your view on this fight? And my view is that I think Josh Taylor will quite comfortably win this fight between him and Jack Catterall. I have a feeling he'll probably dominate the fight. He'll probably be better in most of the things. I think he mentioned himself in the little kind of head-to-head gloves are off promo that his views that he'll do everything better than Jack does, which is probably the case. I mean, he's just got more experience, Taylor, and he's more or less pound for pound the best in his division right now. He's got a lot of the belts, and even though Catterall does have an unbeaten record, 26 wins, 13 by KO, the second best super lightweight fighter in Britain. You have a feeling he's just going to fall short, but it'll be a very exciting fight. I mean, it's a fantastic fight. I mean, Josh Taylor has a history of fighting many fighters who are undefeated, and it's a testament to how good Josh Taylor is. The fact that he's managed to win all of his fights, and a lot of the time he's been fighting recently fighters who are either undefeated or have only had one loss. So it's definitely a testament there to Josh Taylor's strength. But it's also a testament to how good Jack Catterall is, given that he is undefeated. He's coming in undefeated. He's got a lot of wins under his belt, 26. It's a lot of wins. So a very, very good test. Fantastic. They're both British fighters. I know that people are trying to spin it as a Scotland versus England fight. I think that's stuck somewhat, but at the same time, I don't really know if it has fully stuck, because there's a lot of English fans who really love Josh Taylor, and maybe there's Scottish fans who like Jack Catterall. I think that's unlikely in terms of it going the other way around, but there's certainly a lot of English fans who really admire Josh Taylor. There's a lot of kind of psychological things at play here in this fight as well. Obviously, they're fighting in Scotland. It's the home country of Taylor. That's a clear advantage for Taylor. Jack Catterall isn't used to fighting in a place where he's going to be booed very, very heavily as soon as he comes into the ring. A very hostile Scottish crowd, I'm sure, will greet him. And although he may be used to sometimes having been the underdog in fights, that doesn't mean Jack Catterall is used to having thousands of people booing him in fights. I think it's highly unlikely that's happened before. So everything seems to be pointing towards Josh Taylor to win this fight, but we will see. And F is asking, does Catterall have a chance? Could Taylor be too big for the weight now? Now, I don't know why I said I read it out like that. Probably because I know who F is. But yeah, obviously Catterall has a chance. I mean, I'm sure he's got a chance. I mean, on the balance of probabilities, obviously Taylor is, I'm sure, favored by the bookies and is more likely to win this fight. But Catterall obviously has a chance. He's still got a very strong resume, as we said, and you seem to have alluded to the weight. Obviously, Taylor seems to be, if I'm looking at BoxRec, he's 5'10", right? But he's fighting at super light. It's not bad. Meanwhile, Catterall is 5'7", which is probably the type of height you might expect more likely to fit the super light category. 5'10" is pretty tallish for super light, but be too big for the weight. I don't know. I mean, I would assume Taylor wants to dominate his division before he does things like moving up or something like that. So he's got a track record of fighting very well at 139, 139.5, 140, 139.5. I'm just reading some of his previous fights. I mean, his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fights were either at 139, 139.5, or 140. So clearly he's very good at fighting at that weight. So he should be fine. I don't think he's too big for the weight, to be fair. And guys, it looks like there's another Another undercard fight. So I suspect what Matthew was saying was right, which is that maybe the main event might actually start around 10, which is not what I was predicting. Looks like we've got another undercard fight, guys. Maybe this one will be a bit more competitive than the previous one. I'm just picking out their names now because I don't know who they are, to be fair. So Donovan, and also guys, if you look at BoxRec, it's so strange. Maybe BoxRec has been hacked, but it's got #1 Vitaly Klitschko on it, and it's a picture of Vitaly Klitschko in military uniform instead in front of a machine gun. Obviously, alluding to the fact that he's decided to join into the Russia-Ukraine conflict and fight I think in the Ukrainian army or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's why. I'm gonna have to pull the names of these two fighters so I can look at their records. He's going up against. So one of the fighters is Ramirez, but there's a lot of fighters with the surname Ramirez. So I need to pick his. I need to find his. Donovan versus Ramirez. Okay, right. Donovan versus Ramirez. Let's get their full names. Robesi Ramirez versus Eric Donovan. Okay, let's go on BoxRec. Let's figure this out. But yeah, really weird seeing BoxRec showing Vitaly Klitschko with a machine gun. Very strange times, obviously, with what's going on in Europe right now. Right, let's have a look at him. Right, Ramirez, featherweight division. Okay, so this is a featherweight fight. Ramirez is from Cuba. He's got 8 wins, 1 loss. He's the best Cuban featherweight currently. And he's going up against Eric Donovan, who I'm sure is, without rushing to conclusions. Yeah, he's more closer to the UK, but not in the UK. It looks like he's Irish fighter, Donovan. Second best Irish featherweight, it seems, currently. 14 wins, 1 knockout. 14 wins, 1 loss by knockout. Donovan's got a 53% KO ratio, and Ramirez got a 44% KO ratio. Fine. I mean, these fighters look relatively evenly matched, to be fair. Ramirez 28 and Donovan 36, so definitely got a kind of, I don't know, age advantage, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because Donovan's coming into this fight looking pretty good. To be honest, both fighters look like they've had a good training camp respectively. It's a 10-round fight between Ramirez and Donovan, and I don't know if I was to make a quick prediction based upon both of these, both these stats. I would give it to. Let's give it to Ramirez. I have a feeling Ramirez will probably win this fight, but let's see. I mean, they're both quite evenly matched, to be fair. So yeah, looks like we've got another undercard, guys. Another undercard. Donovan versus Ramirez. So we just saw Campbell Mcfarlane, and which was a heavyweight fight, and now we're looking at Ramirez Donovan, which is a featherweight fight. And what are they fighting for? Let's have a look. Any belts on the line? No. There's no belts on the line compared to the previous fight. So looks like Donovan got lost by TKO 3 fights ago. Meanwhile, Ramirez has won his last 6 fights. So looks like Ramirez is probably having a very good spell that he's probably going to carry. He looks really happy in Scotland. Maybe he's getting a good reception. He's not fighting against a Scot, so I mean, not to say Scottish fans will just support the Scotsman, but yeah, he's fighting against an Irish guy, and looks like the fans in the stadium are probably quite neutral about it. And yeah, looks like Ramirez is just very energized. Looks like he's giving off some good energy. could be a crowd favorite. Before we start this fight, guys, casual reminder, don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel grow. Quality shot team really appreciate it. And we've got round one underway between Ramirez and Donovan. Of course, featherweight fight. Both fighters therefore much sharper compared to the heavyweight fight that we've seen before. Quicker hands, quicker feet, quicker everything. Ramirez just kind of establishing the jab. Nice jab to the body there. Ramirez getting Donovan against the ropes, but Donovan comes out. Both fighters just squaring each other off. Donovan with a nice body shot. Although Ramirez keeping his elbows tight to his body. Just a lot of feints right now. Donovan trying the right hand. And again, Donovan trying the right hand and left to the body. Left to the body landed, but the right hand didn't. Ramirez doing a good job just parrying. Ramirez with a right hook that misses. And oh my god, he's already stumbled. Stumbled Donovan Ramirez. Really quick hands, and it counts as a knockdown. It's not a slip. It's already a 10-8 round in favor of Ramirez right now. And there's 1 minute 30 left. I have a feeling Donovan wasn't hurt. But he's certainly just kind of lost his balance, and as a result of a Ramirez punch. So a really horrible start to the first round for Donovan. I can't imagine that he's in that much. He's been hurt though. Looks like he just got stunned. But Ramirez just coming forward, trying to throw a few combos there. Both fighters now in the middle of the ring. Ramirez doing better, to be honest, on timing. Like he seems to be just getting the better of the two in the exchanges. Doing a good job of just kind of getting low and picking his punches. Donovan, though, breaking through the guard of Ramirez with a stiff right. But Ramirez seems relatively unaffected. Less than 30 seconds left of this first round, and it's a great first round for Ramirez so far. Getting that 10-8. Donovan with a right through the guard of Ramirez. Donovan doing pretty well with his jabs, but it doesn't seem like it's necessarily impacting Ramirez at this stage. Ramirez looking very comfortable in there. And that's the end of the first round, and good round for Ramirez, of course. 10-8. Managed to secure a knockdown there. Even though it wasn't something that necessarily meant that he hurt him, but it was a stiff, short left hook that Ramirez threw that stunned Donovan. Donovan lost his balance and fell backwards. And although it didn't hurt him, probably, certainly lost his balance. And yeah, a really bad first round for Donovan, suffering with 10-8 in the first round. But it's early days. It's a 10-round fight, so he's got time, Donovan. Right, round 2 is underway. Okay, looks like F has got some information, by the way, which is last fight, then finally the main event. Sky saying it might start 8:20. Okay, then. Yeah, I was looking at the news and it said that the main fight was going to start 8:20. And it said 8:20 at the earliest, right? Whenever they say at the earliest, you never really believe it's going to happen, but you also don't want to be the mug who's basically missed the main fight. So you start engaging quite early, but then you realize it ends up being 10 p.m. or something ridiculous, which it looks like what's going to happen now, but it is what it is. At least we get some coverage of these undercard fights. got to see a very interesting Scottish heavyweight prospect, and now we're seeing this fight between Ramirez and Donovan in the lightweight. Sorry, not lightweight. Apologies, featherweight category. Ramirez trying an uppercut, weird style, kind of starts from behind him and then kind of loops upward. It didn't really have much effect. Interesting style. I mean, Ramirez got an interesting style of boxing, to be fair. I mean, he does a lot of like he does a lot of like keeping low and then springing up type stuff. He's got an interesting style of uppercuts, and he's pretty decent in terms of just beating Donovan to the punch right now. And you can see there's already some damage to the right eye of Donovan. Looks like he's got some blood there. But Donovan having a nice exchange. Looks like he's had a good 1-2 that he just threw. Ramirez with an overhand left that just misses wildly. My goodness, it's really difficult keeping up with these featherweights though. They really are very fast. Stiff right by Ramirez. And Ramirez trying to uppercut again, it just doesn't work. I'm not sure whether this uppercut is very effective, to be honest. Or nice combination thrown by Donovan, but it doesn't really land. Can't help but feel that Donovan is quite frustrated, and you know, when you get frustrated, you make mistakes. He's just Donovan just he just looks like he's got a lot of energy, and it's like some of it is nervous energy because he's fighting a lot, he's moving around a lot, he's got a very kind of like jaggedy type of fighting style, and some of that might just be frustration and anticipation of what Ramirez is gonna throw. But he just looks like he's got a bit of nervous energy. Ramirez looks very calm in there, and a really stiff short left hook again thrown by Ramirez, which has some success just before the bell. We've got blood near Donovan's right eye. That has to be a 10-9 round for Ramirez, I would say. I mean, Donovan had some good exchanges in that fight and in that particular round of the fight. Sorry, and you know that's all good, but just Ramirez, even though he's probably thrown less, he's just had more success. I mean, although he's got weird uppercut style and he didn't have much success with it, he did have some good punches which involved throwing the uppercut. And sometimes his uppercut almost turns into a hook. He starts off. I think that's what he's doing. He has an interesting style with his uppercuts, where he kind of like throws it from the hip, like it kind of like starts behind his back almost. It's weird. And then sometimes instead of being an uppercut, he then kind of swings it across, so it ends up becoming a hook. And maybe he's trying to mix those in to try and confuse Donovan. I mean, that's just my analysis of it. I don't know if that's necessarily what he's doing, but he's had a lot of success, Ramirez, with a short hook. And I think he's just mixing things up now to confuse Donovan. Ramirez is. Third round is underway. Donovan not necessarily having the best first 2 rounds, suffering a knockdown in the first round and a not particularly good round in the second round where he suffered some damage where he's bleeding. Both fighters in the center of the ring, popping off. Oh, a nice right to the body followed by a punch upstairs by Donovan. Nice mixture, but oh my God, Ramirez with a really strong punch, and oh my God, the referee stepped in as well and ended the fight already. Wow, he stopped in with a TKO, and Donovan looks absolutely just gutted. I mean, the fight just turned. That happened very, very quickly. Within seconds, we were watching what was not necessarily a competitive fight per se, because I think Ramirez is doing very well. But within a matter of seconds, it went from Donovan doesn't look like he's in much trouble to referee jumping in and stopping the fight by TKO. So we're gonna hopefully see a slow-mo of what punch caused that, but looks like Ramirez wins by TKO in the third round. That was very quick. It looks like we might get to see our main fight soon as well. If this is the penultimate undercard. But yeah, really, really well done by Ramirez. I mean, I did predict Ramirez was going to win this fight. I didn't really know how he would win it, but very, very effective, easy. I would say relatively easy victory there. I mean, a third round TKO, having knocked down Donovan in the first round. Pretty easy stuff. Ramirez moves on to bigger and brighter things. He now has nine wins and 1 by KO. Let's see slow-mo now. Or Ramirez loop down, uppercut, short right, a short left. It's the short. That's it. It's the short left hook. That was the punch that knocked him down in the first round. His short left hook is really good. He's got a very good short left hook, Ramirez, and that's what did it. And it looks like maybe he realized that Donovan is pretty exposed when it comes to the short left hook. Maybe that's one of his best punches, Ramirez, the short left hook. But it is the punch that knocked him down in the first round, and it's the punch that he doubled up on in this third round to deliver a TKO. And the referee obviously didn't consider it worthwhile for the fighters to continue, much to Donovan's dismay. But to be honest, Donovan did stumble quite a lot when he ate that short left hook. Well, that's it there for that fight. TKO in round number 3. And hopefully the next fight is Taylor Catterall. That would be nice. We'll see. F saying TopRank undercards are poo. Good thing the main event is as big as it is. Yeah, I mean, look, I found that interesting. It's entertainment. It's not. Ramirez put on a very good show in that fight, and I think it's he was good. He was good in that fight. I mean, it's interesting to watch him. It'd be interesting to see if he's in any other fights that I end up commentating on. But he did very well in that fight. He may not necessarily be the best fighter out there, and looks like, according to BoxRec, he's 37th in the featherweight division in terms of his ranking. But that being said, interesting fight to watch. Meanwhile, an interesting fight to watch for Cuban fight fans. Meanwhile, the previous fight, which was Campbell versus Mcfarlane, interesting to see a Scottish prospective heavyweight fighting ultimately one of the best current active Scottish heavyweights. Did a good job, got a 7-round TKO, and I'm sure it was good fun and entertainment for the fans in attendance. You could see how much Kell Brook was having a good time in the stands there. He was really cracking up. So I think he was really enjoying that fight, as we all were. Okay, so moving on to to what I hope is the main fight. We'll see. I'm going to turn on the sound and see what the main fight is. What the next fight is, sorry. This guy just showing the upcoming football fixtures that they've got going on. Isn't that fantastic? Speaking of which, interesting that we had a comment there from Quality Shot Football. Very interesting. I wonder what that means. Oh, okay. They're doing a little post-fight interview for Ramirez. Let's see what they're saying. Ramirez won one of his gold medals in the UK. What? Is he an Olympian? Oh. Pfft. Ramirez won gold in the 2012 and 2016 Olympics. Oh. Snap. He's pretty good. I don't know why. What's his one loss against? Who did he lose against? It was his first ever fight. Ah. You know what? Ramirez is probably a good prospect for the featherweight division, because his first ever fight he lost fair dues, right? He lost by split decision. But then ever since then, his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights, he's won every single one of them. So actually, even though he's got one loss on his record, he's doing really well. So maybe one to watch for the featherweight division. He's 28, still got a lot of time. And yeah, they're having a little interview now. Let's see what they're saying. He's saying, "Oh, I was telling you all that I'm a changed fighter, and you guys have seen it. Maybe people were writing him off, but I said maybe people were writing him off after his first loss, but ever since then he's been trying to prove that he's like really good in the featherweight division. I thought he put up a really good performance, 3-round TKO. So just asking TopRank manager dude, asking TopRank VP Carl Moretti about what he thinks of Ramirez. And he's responded within a year or less. We want to try and get him to have a few world title fights. All right, well, let's keep this in mind, Ramirez. Robese, I think is how you pronounce his name, unless I'm wrong. Robese Ramirez. Remember that name, because he might pop up again in a bigger featherweight fight, guys. So yeah, I mean, I didn't realize until after he won the fight that he has an Olympic background, and that he is actually a gold medalist in the Olympics. 2 Olympics, in fact. 2012 flyweight gold medalist, and 2016 bantamweight gold medalist, which is pretty decent. So I'm just looking up some more stuff about Wikipedia. What's Johnny Nelson saying? Let's see. Johnny Nelson just praising Ramirez right now. Yeah, it was a very good shot that Ramirez delivered to end that fight. Really nice short left. Yeah, so it looks like he's ready for a few world titles. Go on, throw him in. He's what is he? He's 20. He's 28. Throw him in. That's my view. So what's his background otherwise before the next fight, which I'm hoping is the main fight starts? He's gold medalist in the Pan American Games in 2011 in Guadalajara for flyweight. He was a gold medalist in the Central American and Caribbean Games 2014 bantamweight. He was gold medalist in the Youth Olympic Games 2010 Singapore bantamweight. And he was gold medalist in the AIBA Youth World Boxing Championships in 2010 for bantamweight. Man, this man's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gold medals. That's mad. Yeah, one to watch. I think that's a pretty good undercard fight. I mean, okay, maybe his opponent didn't make it as, I don't know, thrilling of a fight, but I think that's a pretty decent undercard fight to have watched. That's pretty good. Sky Sports, for some reason, showing the Khan Brook highlights right now on the screen. Yeah, I believe Fazan covered that fight. Yeah, he did. And I'm sure he was very upset about the outcome, being the Khan fanboy that he is. But obviously, Brook deserved to win that fight. Put on a fantastic performance. And yeah, it is interesting to think Kell Brook is in attendance for this fight. And for this main fight between Taylor and Catterall. And you wonder why. I mean, Brook fights at, unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty damn sure that he's welter. Pretty sure he usually fights at like around the 147 mark. Yeah, so he fought Amir Khan at 147. Yeah. So, okay, so like Brook is obviously at welter, 147. Then we got Taylor. Taylor is currently fighting around 139. Hey, man. Is Brook here to just kind of support or just cared as boxing royalty? Or is he here maybe to scope Taylor out? And that'd be a weird fight. I mean, I think Brook is at the... There's a lot of talk that Brook was at the latter end of his career. But then he felt really energized after beating Khan. But then obviously said that he needs to have a chat with his family to see what he wants to do next. But he's 35. Taylor's 31. I don't know. I don't think there's any aims to get them two to fight together. I just found it quite interesting that that Brook is in attendance here. I wonder what he's doing. Oh, I'm just listening to him. He's there to do a bit of Sky Sports interview stuff. He's actually talking right now. Let's see if anyone raises the idea whether he's going to fight Taylor. I assume not. They're asking him a question now. Yeah, I mean, they're asking him about 147 fights, obviously. They're asking Kelbrook what he wants to do next. Kelbrook just saying, let me have my moment. Kelbrook saying, Amir can still have a rematch in the contract. Amir's not going to have a rematch. I don't want to see it. Matthew saying, Brooks smiling like a Cheshire cat. Indeed. He's achieved his life ambition in some respects. I mean, he's probably for many years gone to bed thinking, I can't wait to batter Amir Khan, mate. And now that he's done it, I mean, he must feel very fulfilled because he's always wanted to beat Amir Khan. He's always wanted to fight Amir Khan. So, he's enjoying it. He's just bathing in the victory, He's probably come here to, help out with the commentating, but also to just kind of, feel like the boxing royalty that he probably feels like he is after beating Khan, I'd imagine. Looks like the next fight is actually the main fight, right? So I'm gonna see if I can update the banner, if I need to do that, down the bottom hand side. Let's see. Currently it says Taylor versus CATTERALL Watchalong live commentary. Thanks for your support. Yep, obviously. Please remember to like this video and subscribe. Yes, I think we all know that. For more content like this, join our Patreon for quality perks, because obviously this is quality shot. From as little as £1 a month, which is actually the cost of maybe three coffees. So, the cost of 1/3 of a sip of coffee, you can be a blessed Patreon supporter and receive various quality perks, of which I do not know, but I assume it's detailed in the Patreon. So yeah, I think right now is the main fight. So I assume people will start asking, when's the main fight? We're going to get the main fight soon, guys. F is saying, Khan has had a better career and legacy. Thank Brook. But fair play to Brook getting the win. Great career and legacy himself. Oh, I think you're saying Khan has had a better career and legacy than Brook. Yeah, he has. But you're right. Khan, to be fair, is always going to have more clout than Brook, and he's probably more famous than Brook, and probably fits more into boxing royalty than Brook does. But hey, look, can't take it away from Brook. Brook by beating Khan, he's tried to maybe take away some of the I don't know, some of the views of different people saying, oh, you're not as good as Khan, or you've never fought Khan, and Khan's better than you, etc. And there's still people who obviously say that, because you can argue that that fight should have been made 5 years ago plus. But it doesn't matter, because he won. At the end of the day, he won, and he's going to take that home and know that he's won. And what else can you do? I mean, you either you lose or you win. He won, fine. He may not have beaten a prime Khan, but it doesn't matter, because the fight happened. And he beat him, and he has to just be happy about that and satisfied, and hopefully not get depressed or hung up, or think, oh, I didn't beat a prime Khan, I wish I'd beaten a prime Khan, and maybe I'd feel better, or oh, maybe Khan wasn't good enough. He didn't come in, didn't take it seriously, and maybe it doesn't feel satisfying because I didn't beat the best Amir Khan that came in, who really wanted to win this fight. I don't think he's thinking that way. Hopefully not, because you can't reverse the past anyway. You can't fight a prime Khan. You're past that point. He's fought Khan. People have always asked him. People always said, fight Khan. You can't beat Khan. Blah blah blah. All that kind of stuff. He's done it. He's beaten him. He can move on now, and he might as well enjoy the rest of his days. He's happy. I mean, I'm sure look at him. He's smiling even now, and you can't help but think that in his head he's thinking, I beat Khan. And he's still just like feeding that dopamine straight into himself. And he loves it when people ask him, what do you want to do next, and all that, because he's the man right now. But yeah, I don't think there'll be any Brook Taylor fight or anything like that. That's not going to happen. So yeah, I assume Brook is here not to scope anyone out, but to enjoy this fight. Brook has predicted Josh Taylor to win this fight. Just kind of praising him right now. So maybe he's here to just watch his mate have a fight. There's obviously a lot of animosity between these two fighters, especially during the kind of face-offs. Some punches, some not punches, sorry, some some strangling, some pushes, all that kind of jazz, to try and work people up for this fight. But also maybe there's some genuine bad blood between the two. These things always build up fights, let's be honest, the hype and all that kind of stuff, but you don't necessarily need it to necessarily build up this fight, because it's still a very good fight to be watching. These two undefeated fighters. Someone's O has to go, as the saying goes. I think Johnny Nelson just given his evaluation of what this fight is going to be like. Right, okay, good. Yeah, so main event's coming up next. Thank goodness. Thank goodness for that. Anyway, what do you guys think? Who's gonna win this fight? Why do you think the person that you think is gonna win the fight is gonna win? Etc. Etc. Let us know. Let us know. I think probably everyone in here thinks that Taylor's gonna win this fight, and I think we're probably watching to see how well he wins the fight, or how he will win the fight. But I have a feeling. Sorry, I have a feeling that he's going to. Yeah, I feeling he's gonna quite easily win this fight. It's worth noting, very interesting, that Taylor is being coached by none other than Ben Davison. Who obviously also has previously coached folks such as Tyson Fury. Although I think it was him. Looks like I saw Ben Davison. Pretty sure it was. Yeah, he is. He's training Josh Taylor. He's a good coach. Very good trainer. I mean, it looks like he's got so many different advantages here. Taylor's got the home advantage. I assume he's got the better trainer. He's got a better resume, much better professional boxing record. Everything's in his favor, in my view. So unless we see an absolute shock defeat, I'm predicting Taylor to comfortably win. So I'm suspecting we're going to start this main fight within the next 5 minutes. Looks like the ring announcers in the center of the ring, and they're gonna start this hopefully soon, and hopefully we'll see some ring walks. But you know, even though obviously the odds are in Josh Taylor's favor, that doesn't mean Catterall should be ruled out. You know, he's got a very good resume himself. He's very hungry for this fight. He wanted to make this fight around a year ago. So he's honed in on this. This is his really big opportunity to take away so many belts, to climb to the top of the climb to the top as the UK's kind of number one super lightweight. He has a lot to gain from this fight, so he's not gonna let it slip from his fingers, from his gloves very easily, is he? So he's gonna come in and do everything he can. It'll be interesting to see what strategy he adopts. Just gonna have a listen. So looks like currently they are singing the I assume the Flower of Scotland song. I think, which is being sung currently by singing, and the crowd is very much enjoying this and joining in. Unless I'm completely wrong. I mean, I typed some of the lyrics into Google. It looks like "Push Back" with Flower of Scotland, which is a Scottish song used mostly at special occasions and sporting events. Makes sense. Although Scotland has no official national anthem, obviously, because I think that gets covered by "God Save the Queen." I imagine, unless that's only reserved for. It's probably only reserved for. Oh yeah, I mean that's a British anthem, so I assume they get God Save the Queen. But I guess when the Scots want to sing a specifically Scottish song, then maybe "Flower of Scotland" is the choice. It says here, yeah, they have no official national anthem, but "Flower of Scotland" is one which is used along with the older Scots Wha Scotland the Brave, and Highland Cathedral. Some interesting facts coming out today on Scottish songs. Matthew's saying, not a big fan of national anthems at boxing. Yeah, I mean, I think what's interesting about boxing is how much emphasis is sometimes placed on countries. Like when you fight, you're fighting for a country. They always mention your nationality. And a lot of the time, the marketing is surrounded around your country as well. As opposed to other sports where you have the ability to, for example, compete for a club or something like that. You can't really do that in boxing, probably because it's a 1v1 sport, similar to, say, I don't know, tennis, which is a 1v1 or maybe 2v2 sport. And in those circumstances, I assume, and I'm not an expert on tennis, but I assume you're playing for a country. So there's a very strong element of nationalism there. And the boxing is obviously like very heavily intertwined with things like the Olympics, Olympic boxing, very big deal for a lot of people, and obviously representing your country there as well. So it looks like there's a strong emphasis on nationality in boxing, and you usually represent certain country. And I think that's why these national anthems get thrown into a lot of these fights a lot of the time due to that. To the extent where different nationalities get a reputation for different things. For example, the South American fighters, or say Cuban fighters or Mexican fighters, they have a reputation for sometimes being very tough and heavy-handed and able to sustain a lot of punishment. Whereas you might get other fighters from other countries which have a different stereotype that's associated with them, which is interesting. Maybe one example of kind of an exception to that norm being the fighter from Russia, um, who was Dmitry Pirog. I believe he was Russian, actually. Yeah, he was Russian. A lot of people were thinking, oh, Pirog is when he used to be fighting different fighters. I remember his fight against Daniel Jacobs, which I didn't watch at the time, but I watched afterwards. And people were saying, oh, Pirog is like your typical Eastern European fighter. He just goes in slogs and so on. But that wasn't the case. He was like a really slick technical boxer who unfortunately had to retire early because of a significant injury that he has sustained to his back. But he probably would have gone on to be a really fantastic fighter. And the fight they would have been taking was actually a fight against Golovkin, but it had to get called off because of his injury that he sustained, I think, during training. Amazing. And obviously, we know what Golovkin went on to do. I wonder what the fight would have been like between him and Golovkin at the time, because Pirog had an undefeated record. One of those things that you'll never know. Anyway, we've got Catterall coming in now. And he's I believe he got booed while coming in, but it looks like you can't really hear the boos anymore. It looks like it'll be more the case that Josh Taylor will get a very loud cheer as opposed to Jack Catterall getting a very loud boo. But he's in the ring right now, waiting for his opponent, the big superstar, Scottish pride, Scotsman's pride. Josh Taylor about to enter the ring in Scotland. As he's saying, at least on this occasion, it was done pre the fighters getting in the ring. Yeah, no, I agree. And then I was saying, yeah, Catterall more or less ran into the ring. It was quite fast. I was discussing Dmitry Pirog at the time, and then before I knew it, I looked at Sky Sports again and realized that Catterall was already in the ring. So I didn't actually notice what had happened. But yeah, maybe just got in as quickly as possible so as not to absorb all the boos, which is fine. Rich is saying, let's go. It'll be an interesting fight. I'm looking forward to this one. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, everyone hyping up Josh Taylor before he enters the ring. Just getting my little notepad ready so that I can record the score for this one. Might as well run through statistics again before the fight begins, and as Josh Taylor makes his way into the ring. So obviously both fighters are undefeated in terms of their respective records. Pretty interesting song that Josh Taylor's coming into the ring with. It's kind of like I don't know, a techno beat. I guess I'd describe it as a techno beat. It's quite upbeat. Oh, maybe there's some Scottish underlining behind it because there's a bunch of guys playing bagpipes and a bunch of people in kilts playing some drums. So yeah, he's 100% coming in as 100% coming in as the Scot. Obviously, got to leverage that as much as he can. Richard Clark saying encore en foi. Is that the is that the song? I've just googled it. French for one more time is a song by German DJ group Sash, as you'd suggested. Is that it then? Interesting. And is that something it comes into usually? I don't know. It's interesting. It's a good choice of song, I guess. And then they kind of Scot-fied it with some bagpipes and some drums. Fair dues. Nice high upbeat song to come into. Oh, okay, nice. That's a pretty good song. Gets the crowd in a good mood for this one. So yeah, both fighters now in the ring, and yeah, I might as well quickly run through the statistics again before the fight starts. Obviously, Josh Taylor undefeated, 18 wins, 13 by knockout. Considered more or less the pound for pound best super lightweight fighter in the division right now, according to BoxRec. The holder of various titles, including the WBA Super World Super Light title, the WBC World Super Light title, the IBF World Super Light title, and the WBO World Super Light title. 31, 5'10", 69.5 reach. And he's going up against Jack Catterall, who's also undefeated, 26 wins, but probably a less well-known resume. Coming out of Lancashire in the UK. So yeah, 26 wins, 13 by KO, undefeated, zero losses, obviously 0 draws, and he's 5'7", so slightly shorter, and reach is not referenced here, but I assume he's probably got less of a reach than Taylor does. They are fighting in Scotland, which is the home country of Josh Taylor, of course. So he's got significant home advantage in Glasgow at the SSE Hydro. It's a 12-round fight, as it obviously should be. And yeah, all these wonderful belts that Taylor holds are on the line in the head-to-head and the kind of face-to-face. Taylor was mentioning that this is the fight that he needs to get out of the way so that he can get back to taking on superstars at the world level. Whereas Catterall has been saying he's been waiting for this fight for a long time, and it's he's here to take those belts away. In the face to face, Taylor was mentioning that the only way that he can really have much of a chance is if he comes out fast, Catterall, in the fight. Maybe Taylor wants Catterall to try and be a bit risky in the first few rounds. Maybe he was trying to set a trap. Who knows if any of that has any impact on how this fight will pan out. 72.22% KO ratio that Taylor has compared to a 50% KO ratio that Catterall holds. So yeah, they're both relatively heavy-handed, but it looks like all the odds you would assume are in Taylor's favor, especially when he's got a crowd of many thousands of Scots cheering him on. Must have a really good psychological effect on this fight for him. Both the fighters in the center of the ring, referee giving the usual chat. And what the heck, we've got a surprise. So we got a surprise guest who's made some surprise appearance. Unbelievable.
Hello, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Welcome to the fight. Thanks for
Welcome to Quality Shot.
Quality Shot bombing me just before the beginning of this wonderful fight. I'll do the first round then. Feel free to continue to bomb me in terms of the commentary. Right, fight is underway between Taylor and Catterall. So, I mean, just a lot of feints right now, to be honest. Fighters just feeling each other out. No punches landed. And oh, okay, Catterall with a jab to the body. Oh, interesting. Left hook thrown by Catterall, which I think might have brushed Taylor, but he looked like he was quite surprised with that.
He's got a good left hook, Catterall.
Yeah,
a solid left hook.
Tries to go for another left hook to the body, just misses. Taylor's doing a good job, just kind of staying out of distance. And Taylor's trying to come forward with a jab, doesn't really do anything. Both fighters then tying each other up. Referee stepping in. I'm sure he's going to step in. There you go. And again, a lot of feinting right now. Just each fighter quite hesitant to try and land something. Attempted overhand right by Taylor, which doesn't connect. Oh, well, Catterall with a kind of overhand left. And both fighters clinching. To be fair, I think Catterall has had the better of the exchanges so far, but it's very, very, very early days. And again, just feints there. Oh, stiff right thrown by Catterall. And well, a short left thrown by Catterall, which doesn't connect. So Taylor doing a decent job of kind of staying out of range and using his distance well, but doesn't seem to have kind of connected so far. Both fighters find themselves in the clinch as Catterall ties his arm around Taylor's neck there. Referee had to step in to break those two up.
Yeah, both southpaws as well.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, so they might get tied up at times. A bit of an awkward fight, to be honest. Short left thrown by Taylor in the clinch, and Taylor's just kind of throwing Catterall into the ropes, trying to rough him up.
It looks like this is going to be from the middle of the ring, it looks like, for the most part. They are going to stand and have a fight. Taylor's obviously fighting in Scotland for the first time in a bit of time as well, so he'll want to put on a show. Catterall's definitely got a left hook. He's got some power in that, but Josh Taylor, obviously a well-rounded fighter, but he loves getting into a fight. He can box and move, but I would imagine he will get dragged into a fight. His chin isn't too bad either. I don't think he's been dropped as of yet, I think, in his career. Gregor saying Glasgow fans know how to put on a noise. Yeah, true as well.
Right, that's the end of the first round. I'm not gonna lie, I might actually give that to Catterall.
Yeah,
unless you think round, otherwise. Right? Yeah.
No, I'm happy to give it to Catterall. I think Catterall.
He just had the more of the eye exchanges.
Yeah, so they're just showing the highlights, and you mentioned that left hook at the start of the round. It's such a good shot, that left hook that he threw, and it definitely caught him flush, Taylor.
Oh, I think Taylor will look slow-mo.
Yeah, he'll definitely now kind of respect the power of Catterall. I think after that would have hurt, you'd imagine. Yeah, very interesting. Jack Catterall, the question is going to be, is he dynamic enough to be able to kind of really hurt Taylor, or will it just be one or two shots? And normally people like you're a massive fan of Lomachenko and people like Crawford, etc. as well. These guys, the first few rounds are normally like feel out rounds, and then they come on strong later on because they figured out the opponent. Richard's saying an even round one there. I've banned Mohammad from giving 10-10s anymore, so that's why he's
got a side.
Yeah, it's just so rare to see 10-10s. I can take this round if we can all take rounds.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure.
So Catterall just pumping up the jab, and he definitely looks the busier fighter. A lot of feinting from Taylor, trying to look for openings, and you can just see Catterall just keeping his lead hand up, just pouring almost to avoid Taylor throwing the jab. It's quite clever, actually, trying to just keep within distance, knowing where he is. Good short left by Catterall there, and the ref telling Josh Taylor, you've hit him on the back of the head 3 times there, or 3 times already in this fight. Be careful. Catterall just going on with it, wasn't complaining. There's a good little short shot from Catterall. He definitely looks dialed in for this. I mean, his resume suggests that, you know, this is a real test. Like, he hasn't fought anyone of real world-class caliber. But for Taylor, could he have taken Catterall for granted? Is he a bit too big for the weight? I don't know. But so far, Catterall definitely, I think, edging the fight, but a long way to go yet. Yeah, good
Yeah, I
1-2 from
agree.
Catterall. The backhand doesn't quite connect. Double jab there as well. And Taylor just, to be fair, I think he's trying to work out Catterall at the moment. He's probably a little bit surprised about how quickly he came out. Good backhand though from Taylor as well. But Catterall doesn't look plodding. He looks pretty sharp in terms of the quickness of the punches. Now we're in the a little clinch there on the inside, and Taylor, a couple of uppercuts thrown. Oh, Catterall's not afraid to get into a fight in the middle of the ring. I think he's trying to show Taylor that he can't be bullied around. You can see a lot of feinting, a lot of looks from both fighters. Intelligent boxing. Just a lot of feinting. Jab from Catterall there. Another jab from Taylor as well. A minute left in this second round. Yeah, good body shot from Taylor. Left hook to the body. That is definitely a shot that he should be trying to throw regularly. Goes left hook to the body as well, because that will slow Catterall down for one, and it will definitely help him down the stretch, Josh Taylor, if this fight goes on that long. Definitely needs to invest in the body. Catterall kind of mainly headhunting. I haven't really seen much body work from him, to be fair, but he's definitely thrown the crisper punches so far. Oh, there we go. A little bit of a rugby tackle from Catterall. Josh Taylor telling the ref, what's he doing? And he's just, but I don't mind this, to be fair, from the challenger though, because he's just kind of, he knows he's in the lion's den. He knows that he's up against it, and he's just kind of saying to Taylor, look, you can't push me around here. Oh, wild left hook thrown from Taylor. Doesn't land, but if it had, you can only imagine. Oh, he looks like he's a bit of trouble here, Catterall. He's up against the ropes. Managed to get out of it, though. Very intelligent. Just kind of dipped under. Didn't get clipped there. Taylor did really well to cut off the ring there. I think it's difficult. I'd probably give that another Catterall round, to be honest with you. What do you think?
I was going to give it to Taylor. I think Taylor had the better of the exchange. It was close. It was close. They both had their own successes at different points. But I think compared to Taylor's the first round, I think Taylor's obviously done much better than that first round there, and he's had much more success connecting. So I think I'd edge that to giving it to Taylor. So I've got it even Stevens.
Let's do it. I'll let you take on the third round. We'll alternate. You missed a secondary.
Yeah. Why did you think Catterall in the? Oh, see the slow-mo. That's a really nice 1-2 there by Catterall. But why did you initially say Catterall for that second round?
I just thought it was the busier of the two, to be fair, and there wasn't a huge amount in it. But to be fair, the end of that round, Taylor put a lot of pressure on him, didn't he, up against the rope? So I'm happy to give it. I think it was a swing round for me. So let's give it to him. But sorry, go on.
Third round is underway. So both fighters just clinching right now. Assume the referee's going to break that up. Obviously, there's a lot of tension here. You know, they really want it, and it's been such a kind of bad blood build up for this one. Interesting kind of shoulder roll defense that Catterall tried to produce on the ropes. Both fighters in the center of the ring.
Mayweather.
Yeah, they've got a little Mayweather in here. I guess Catterall kind of just dancing around the ring right now while Taylor pursues him. Catterall with a right that just misses. Taylor doing a good job kind of weaving out of the way. You can see Taylor's just really trying to stalk Catterall down and trying to pick his punches, but
for sure
hasn't really thrown anything. A quick jab to the body by Taylor, followed by a left to Catterall, which wasn't ideal because both fighters were kind of on the clinch at the time. Referee kind of stepping in to have a chat with Catterall there, and probably to Taylor to say, listen guys, you know, don't do stuff like that, don't be silly, just get back to boxing.
Yeah, it's another timeout. There's been a lot of timeouts already, and it's only a third round, but low blows and a
punch to the back of the head there by Taylor, and he has been warned about that. He should be very wary. He might get a deduction of a point because the referee isn't going to give a damn that they're fighting in Scotland and that the crowd might boo.
Shouldn't. Yeah, agreed. He shouldn't. Yeah, the punch to the back of the head and like a bit of dirty tactics from both, to be fair. But Taylor especially, he's got to be careful, as he said.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
sharp 1-2.
yeah, so it's really quite
Yeah, Catterall, that
awkward
sharp 1-2
exchanges.
there.
Yeah, sharp 1-2 by Catterall, but relatively, a nice uppercut by Catterall, to be fair. And he managed to jump out of harm's way afterwards. There's something quite awkward about the exchange. A short left thrown by Taylor, followed by a short right hook on the clinch.
Yeah.
Oh, another right hook thrown by Taylor, which
Do
is
you know
quite
why? Because
successful.
both are kind of going in with their forearms. They're pushing the opponent, which is why they're awkward. So really, that's kind of not allowed. Catterall's doing it at the moment as well, where he kind of leads in with his arm, like pushes Taylor, then punches after. Both kind of utilizing dirty tactics, which is quite funny. But obviously, unless the ref says something to you, right? I mean, you just get on with it, I guess.
Yeah, and only half a minute left of this third round, and Catterall just kind of tying Taylor up in a little headlock. The referee stops the two from doing that. Fight is back in the center of the ring, and they've done a pretty decent job of just kind of trading and staring each other down. Looks like there's a bit of blood from Catterall's nose, so obviously Taylor's had some success. Catterall's doing a pretty decent job of staying low and avoiding these kind of like hooks that Taylor's trying to throw.
It's a good body shot thrown by Catterall. It's the first I've seen left hook to the body.
End of the third round there. What do you think?
It's tough. It's really tough. The last two rounds I found quite hard to call, to be honest with you. What are you thinking?
I would give that to Taylor.
Okay.
He looks like he had some success in that round, which led to a cut, and I think that's, even though that's not necessarily the entire fight, I think the judges will be seeing that, and maybe it has an impact on their decision. He clearly he threw something that obviously injured Catterall and caused him to bleed. So I think that's enough to kind of edge it in his favor. But they both had very successful exchanges, respectively, to be perfectly honest. And a lot of the fight was awkward. So I'd give that to Taylor. Taylor.
Richard saying a good round there for round 2. Matthew saying I think Taylor will stop him in round 5 or 6. That was my thoughts pre-fight. Okay, and saying could be right. We'll see. There's a lot of rumble and tumble going on, and the one thing I would say is that Catterall's definitely in this fight, and I think it's worth noting that he's had about a year and a half, 2 years to prepare for this fight. So he let Josh Taylor face Jose Ramirez. He stepped aside, so he would have been prepping a long time studying Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor wouldn't have been studying Jack Catterall. He wouldn't have been, not for very long anyway. So Jack Catterall's had a long time, his team as well, to do this. So if he was ever going to beat someone like Josh Taylor, it would be now. But yeah, happy to have Taylor up 2-1 in this fight so far. But there some very close rounds and a good body shot. I think the most eye-catching shot of the last round was that body shot from Catterall. A lot of headlocks, a lot of clinching, another timeout, and the ref bring both fighters together, saying you guys need to sort this out because a lot of fighting.
Ref is very busy today. He's definitely getting his money's worth. He's getting his paycheck.
In a way, I just feel like you just let them get on with it, unless it's getting hit to the back of the head, clinching and kind of headlocks. Just unless it's excessive, I feel like almost in a way you need to get on with it, especially if both are doing it as well. It's almost like fair game. He's got Catterall up against the ropes here, Taylor. Catterall, though, manages to get out of there. Good 1-2. Doesn't land, though, but it does enough to just get out of that little predicament there. Taylor, a decent body shot to the body. Doesn't look super confident. Oh, he slipped there, Taylor. I think it was a slip. I don't think he got clipped. It's just off balance.
Yeah.
Doesn't fall, just stumbles. And both fighters look very, very dialed in. This is not an easy fight for Taylor, and Catterall would have known what he was coming into, facing the undisputed light welterweight champ.
Ooh.
Oh, here we go. Left hook thrown, and again, I think one thing that Catterall's done really well is dipping underneath the left hook of Taylor. He's pretty much dipped and avoided that left hook pretty much all night so far. He hasn't had really any success with it, and that is one of Taylor's go-to punches is that left hook. So obviously that's his backhand as well. He's a southpaw. Catterall's done really well. Again, see a leading left by Taylor, and Catterall just dips inside this time, goes into the clinch. He's clearly got that muscle memory there. He's worked on that a lot, and it's It's really impressive. Good again, head movement by Catterall. Taylor throwing is definitely a lot more active. I felt the first 2 rounds Catterall was throwing more. Oh, that's a good combo from Catterall. Only the body shot lands though. 4-punch combination. And back into a clinch. Only 10 seconds left. Well, 15 seconds left of this 4th round. Again, a very tight round. Not really a lot in it, to be fair. There's definitely been action. It's just obviously some stop starting because of the clinching and the headlocks, etc.
Yeah.
But it's been action packed for sure.
My goodness, what a difficult round again to try and score.
100%.
It's so they're both respectively having very good exchanges, and
Agreed.
there are many awkward aspects to this fight. They get tied up so much. There's a lot of shots to the back of the head. There's a lot of very good defensive maneuvers from both fighters, especially Catterall doing, as you said, very good job of either dipping inwards or his head movement is very good. It's difficult round to score. Do you have what are you gonna?
I'd give that one to Catterall. I would.
Same. I would do that as well.
I think 2-2 and Tom F. Sorry, thanks Tom for joining in, guys. Well, if you are new, do drop us a like and subscribe, and if you're old, obviously do like the video if you don't mind. Does help us out. Tom says Taylor knee probably plus the weight potentially.
Probably
question mark. Yeah, I think so. Obviously, he's had a knee injury in the past. He said it's 100%. It could be an issue. I think the weight might be the bigger one. He wants to move up to 147 I think probably after this fight he was going to. Obviously, I think either way, win or lose, he would move up. Oh, that's a good shot from Catterall, and Taylor looks at his actually puts his glove onto his face there. Oh, sorry, Mom, I'll let you go. Actually, sorry, it's your round.
Are you sure?
yeah, go on. Body shots, go on.
All right, yeah. Well, but both fighters swinging quite wildly right now, and I mean, you can just tell there's so much aggression still within them here in this fight. They, I mean, when you end up becoming quite aggressive, you can really make some mistakes. So, but yeah, both fighters again on the clinch. Referee having such a busy day. Oh, Taylor.
Why does Taylor keep on doing? Yeah.
He doesn't look happy. I mean, maybe he's maybe I don't want to think orbital or anything. I don't think so. But he just keeps pouring at his face, which is not a good sign.
Is it his nose or is it eye? It's weird. Like it's almost like
weird,
like when
worrying.
you have a nosebleed and you do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's that or if it's part of his face.
Yeah, but there's no blood, and that's worrying.
Ooh.
And you're ahead of me. Oh, I just saw it now. That's stiff left by Catterall. My God, Catterall's actually having a really good round. This is I'm getting worried for Taylor, to be perfectly honest. I know a lot of us are thinking and predicting Taylor's going to knock him out, blah blah blah. But...
I mean that's how good Taylor is.
Well,
Catterall's come to fight.
Oh yeah. So well, overhand left thrown by Catterall, which misses. Both fighters again clinching, a lot of clinching in this fight. Referee breaking them up, and you can see there's actually some damage under Taylor's right eye. So actually, Catterall coming back with something quite feisty himself, and both fighters.
That might be that might be why he's touching it, because I think it might be
he feels it.
Bleeding or something, or maybe it's kind of something going on.
This is really bad for Taylor.
It's a bad cut. He's pouring at it. That's a bad cut.
No, maybe it's a bad cut. This is not good for Taylor. This is very bad for Taylor. Catterall actually is having a really good round in this 5th round here, and there's 40 seconds left of the fight of this of this round. Sorry. But yeah, I mean, wow, not ideal, not what Taylor wants, and you have a feeling Taylor's almost getting a bit hesitant and wants to maybe try and escalate what he's doing. Maybe he thinks if the fight goes on, the cut's going to continue to get worse, and maybe he wants to try and land a few power punches here to maybe see if he can, I don't know, shake Catterall. But it's not a good cut to sustain. It's not a good cut to sustain.
The go-to
it didn't come from a head clash. I see. Yeah, it's not a head clash situation. I have a feeling it came from a scoring punch, and if it does, and if he has to retire because of medical reasons, it's due to a valid punch. So actually, he would have lost the fight rather than it being a no contest. So
the thing is, look at that cut. Look, you can see
that's a 10. That's obviously a 10-9 Catterall round, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a slash kind of just like where your bone is here. He's got a big kind of gash there. They're just
This is
working on
really
it now.
bad.
Thing is, it's the left hook that Catterall's been throwing all night, right? That's the one that's been landing a lot. Now the problem is, and they just showed it there. Look at that. And the worst thing is, they're showing the slow-mo. It was a right hook.
Ooh.
Then he went with the right hand again, and he's had so much success with that all night.
Boom.
He's basically opened up that cut. If Taylor,
Ooh.
I think they, you know, if Taylor goes 12, if that cut could potentially get so bad they have to stop it. So he might have to be a step on the gas here and accelerate. Matthew's saying Taylor getting caught so cleanly and so often. And Rich is saying fight is way closer than people thought. Agreed.
Definitely.
Agreed.
This is dangerous for. I've got Catterall up by 1.
Yeah, I've gone up by 1 again. Big backhand from Catterall. I think Catterall needs to be careful because I think he also can't get complacent. You can obviously see that he's cut. You can see that he's probably a little bit hurt as well, but he can't afford to just throw wildly and kind of gas out and expend unnecessary energy. He needs to be measured, be clinical, and set up the punches nicely because Taylor's still a live opponent in there. He hasn't been wobbled. Yes, he's got a cut. That doesn't mean that he's going to win this fight, Catterall. And another clinch here again after a couple of wild wing shots from Catterall. He's obviously gained confidence, but needs to stay tuned in. Another shot to the back of the head by Taylor. The ref has to deduct a point at some point. Taylor just keeps on hitting him to the back of the head. Matthew saying Taylor's really urgent now, and I think he knows. His team would have probably said to him, this cut is pretty bad. You need to step on the gas here now.
Yeah.
Oh, big 1-2 from Catterall. Taylor seems to have an iron shot. I don't think he's ever been dropped, if I'm not mistaken. Or if he has been. He's definitely never been knocked out. Anyway, he's obviously unbeaten. Unbelievable. You can see he's beaten a host of unbeaten fighters as well on his way to the Undisputed Championship. I think his record is the last 5 opponents, something like 100 and 0. That's how 101. That's how a combined record. Unbelievable. Jab thrown by Catterall lands clean. And Taylor tries to jab himself, but good head movement from Catterall to get out of the way. Body shot thrown by Catterall, then tries to punch down as Taylor dips underneath. Another good head movement from Taylor, though, both times dipping nicely to his left and right. And we're just into the clinch now as well. And Horace saying, what's your scorecard recently? I would say it's 3-2 to Catterall. Yeah, so Catterall up by 1 is how I've got it. Oh, you can see the cut, just the blood running down his eye. It's not horrific. It's not a massive gash, but it's kind of substantial. And if another left hook thrown by Catterall lands clean. Ooh. I don't know whether it's a case of Taylor is not as used to fighting southpaws who are this quick in terms of their hand speed and kind of measured as one accurate with that left hook. But it's funny because Taylor knew that the left hook was his best punch because in the gloves were off, he said, you're just going to try and knock me out with the left hook. But he doesn't seem to have prepared at all for the left hook. He's been like, he hardly seems to miss.
His right hand is down quite a lot as well. I mean, ideally, you should ideally keep that right hand up a bit.
Genuinely, Jack Catterall, I don't think he's probably landed about 80-85% of the left hooks he's thrown. I'm not even joking. That's kind of how I see it. Thomas says Taylor should have moved up to welter. Well, we'll see. He obviously wanted that last fight. He did promise Catterall this fight after he stepped aside. And again, that's a Catterall round for me. At the end of that round, so 4-2.
This is not what we expected.
Yeah, Horace says someone on commentary I heard said he has Catterall winning all the rounds. So I said there was a couple of swing rounds that Taylor won, right? But I mean, gave it to Taylor, so right? But I wouldn't be surprised. Richard says, ironically, fight not close now. Catterall smashing it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel Catterall certainly won the round that just passed and the prior round, and maybe he's on he's going to continue to win the rounds. Maybe he's starting to build significant amounts of momentum. Maybe the crowd certainly hasn't gotten to him. The atmosphere hasn't gotten to him. I think he's really starting to get into his element now.
Look at the fight total punches. Look at that success rate. 46% for Catterall. 32% for Taylor. And he's thrown 180 to 120 punches. The difference there as well.
Perhaps we wrote off Catterall a bit too soon before this fight began.
Agreed. I think he obviously underestimated him as well, I'd imagine.
You have to think, how's Taylor going to pull this out of the bag? There's still 6 rounds, so what an amazing fight if he ends up turning it around. But let's see as we move into this 7th round. So Taylor trying to throw a left hook there to the back of Catterall's body. Ref stepping in to kind of break up the fighters as they.
He's telling him don't get him into a headlock, basically.
Yeah. Referee telling Catterall not to get Taylor into a headlock. I mean, it's been quite an awkward fight at points. Both fighters ducking each other's punches there. Taylor trying to back Catterall into the ropes, coming with a short left and managing to block Catterall's left hook, which has provided so much for Catterall in this fight. Both fighters again finding themselves kind of clinching. Taylor trying to throw a left hook in the process, but referee breaking up the two fighters.
I wonder what Sky's scorecards are, the unofficial ones.
Yeah.
They
Again, it's just Catterall wrapping his arm around Taylor's head once again. Referee stepping in a lot of the time. Referee having to break up these two fighters. I mean, very awkward at times.
You see that triple kind of feint by Catterall and then a jab thrown, but very, very like energetic Catterall.
Yeah, now we've
on the balls of his feet.
Yeah, and now we've got Taylor wrapping up Catterall again, and referee having to step in. Catterall doing a double jab, trying to break through the guard of Taylor. Oh, Taylor with an uppercut which just glances Catterall, followed by a left hook, which wasn't particularly effective. And Catterall seems to be kind of implementing a Philly shoulder roll at points, but then
he
goes back to his normal fighting style.
Or double jabs from Catterall again. Look at you can see the blood coming down the eye again of Taylor.
Yeah. And well, yes, and coming back to what you said earlier, Catterall must have been studying Taylor intently for the past year and a half at least. So he's done he's ready. He's really ready for this fight.
It's like Ruiz with AJ, right? Ruiz said, I always wanted to fight AJ. I've been studying him for a long time. And imagine Catterall knew he was going to fight Taylor, so he would have been studying him even more intently.
Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Taylor trying to pop off a few punches, but not particularly effective. And both fighters find themselves in the clinch. Taylor trying to break himself out, throwing a hook in the process.
He's just not managing to land flush, is he? A couple kind of glancing blows.
He's trying to. I mean, the amount of. It's getting very awkward. It's always very awkward in this fight. Again, the fighters find themselves clinching, but referees telling them almost just come on, fight out of it. Do your inside fight.
Taylor keeps on punching on the back of the head, right? He knows they're in the clinch, and he.
Oh, there you go. Referee telling Taylor again, you're punching in the back of the head. It's only a matter of time before he gets doctor point, and then Taylor
How
will
can
really
he not get
have
doctor point for that? Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah,
he's done it. He's done it probably about 10 times throughout the fight. Tom says good commentary, and Richard says landing more than double of Taylor. Wow. Taylor will need a KO if it carries on like this, says Richard as well.
End of that 7th round, and Taylor lifting his glove slightly, almost to say that I won that round. What do you think, Fazan? Do you think he won that round?
I think he was quite active. I don't know how much of his work actually was effective, though, how much landed. I think Catterall had the cleaner work, so it depends what you like. If you like a bit more pressure, then probably Taylor. I think he was pressuring Catterall, but he wasn't really having much success. So if I'm going to just score it how I have been, I'll probably give it to Catterall still. But yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, I would probably give that round to Catterall personally. And I was just listening to Kell Brook at the time because they were having a quick chat with him in between this round. Kell Brook was saying Catterall was really getting more lively throughout the fight, and it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the rounds go. So it looks like his impression of Catterall is quite favourable right now, even though I think he was favouring Taylor at the beginning of this fight. Like I think everyone was,
weren't they, to be fair, yeah. And Tom also thanks for saying about good commentary. So, straight away, Taylor comes to the middle of the ring, tries to throw winging hooks, doesn't really land. Good cover up there from Catterall. And you can just see Taylor's so urgent now. He knows, I think, he needs to kind of accelerate into this fight. He cannot afford to be on the back foot. I would say he's down on the cards as well. Obviously, 7 rounds gone. I think we've got Catterall up 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
so
all those belts on the line.
That means he would need to win you need to win 4 out of the next 5 rounds here. He's dropped Taylor. He's dropped Taylor. It's a huge combination from Catterall, just thrown, and Taylor's walking around. I cannot. It's not surprising.
He looks so defeated.
It's a long time coming, to be fair.
There's puts 2 his gloves minutes up. Left of this 8th round.
I tell you what,
he needs to tie him up.
That was a huge combination. And I tell you what, he does not look good. I think he also looks a little bit weight drained. But there won't be any excuses, I'd imagine, at the moment. He just does not look. It's so funny because he said in front of a crowd as well. He's fought behind closed doors the last couple of fights, and he said,
Oh
"Oh, it's not
my
the same."
God.
He's now in front at home, in front of his home crowd, and
This
he's
is
just been
not
knocked
the
down
place.
in
Not the
Scotland
place for
at the
you to get
Hydra.
knocked down. 1 minute 30 left.
Exactly.
It's already a 10-8.
Look at that. So that was a really good combination. I'm sure when they show the slow-mo, we'll see as well. But it was like a 4-punch combination. It was really quick, vicious punches thrown by Catterall. And Taylor just had to kind of go down. The pressure was too much.
I'm going to have a little listen to the crowd and see how dead it is right now. Yeah, the crowd sounds
Taylor
very
just
worried.
trying to get forward. He's still going for it. He's still going for it. He knows, I think, as well, the cut, everything. He realizes he's on the back foot. We could have one of the biggest upsets of the year if Catterall wins, and no one would have expected. I tell you what, people that have betted on Catterall, if he wins this, they'll be earning some big money. Obviously for us, haram, but for them, good luck to them. But this is like unbelievable, to be honest with you, because I mean, Taylor is a pound for pound fighter, genuinely. So surprising, really surprising, but still a long way to go yet. Still. That was good from Taylor, actually. Catterall just dipping down, almost managed to clip flush then. Looked like he might be able to hurt Catterall, but Catterall did well to just get out of that awkward exchange. Then a little bit of clinching there, the referee just breaking them up. Taylor, it just looks like there isn't as much on the punches as Catterall's punches. It just doesn't look like he's quite got the power that Catterall has, which is a bit surprising because yes, he doesn't have huge concussive punch power, but he's got very respectable power. Josh Taylor, he's knocked people out before, and in fact, he knocked people out with body shots, and he's just kind of improved. And his finishing is kind of akin with someone like Terence Crawford. Now, Ben Davison says to the crowd, "Oh, this is interesting." Ben Davison saying to the crowd, "Come on, get behind him, get behind him." And then he slaps Josh Taylor on the butt, basically. Says, "Go on." I tell you what, if there's any moment to try and get the most out of your fighter, it's now. He will be literally saying to Taylor, come on, like literally in his face, like, you know what, trying to wake him up, because Josh Taylor looks completely out of it. He looks like he looks scared, almost a little bit scared to say. So look at that, body shots, left hook to the body from Catterall. We're just going to show the knockdown here. And then it was a ridiculous left hook glancing blow, catching Taylor as he was almost going down. And you can just see, look at that. It was a really good shot.
Wow. This is not good at all for Taylor. We've got Catterall up by 5 now. I mean, Taylor cannot win this fight without knocking down or knocking out or TKOing Catterall at this stage.
Agreed. Yeah, Richard says
Taylor really needs to perform.
So if he's 5 up, so now, I mean, even if he wins the rest of the rounds, I think he's lost this. So he'll need to, as you said, he'll need to either get kind of a knockdown or 2 at least, or knock out Catterall. Catterall on the back foot. This is good boxing from Taylor. He's come out very quick here. And then a clinch. Sorry, I've taken over. It's your round. Go on.
No, okay. So, clinching currently. Both fighters. Yeah, Taylor really needs to come up with something here. He really needs to go for a knockdown or a knockout or something, or damage Catterall significantly so as to acquire a TKO, because if he doesn't, he's not going to win this fight based on our scorecards at least. A short left thrown by Taylor. Kind of, you can feel the urgency of Taylor right now, but Catterall doing a good job of tying Taylor up, trying to take those seconds off the rounds. Catterall probably realizes he can try and let these rounds kind of pass by, and he wants to probably buy as much time as he can by tying up Taylor, which is only going to frustrate Taylor even more, which might lead to Taylor making mistakes, to be honest. But Catterall doing a good job of.
Do you think Catterall's slowing or will slow down, or do you think it's just the case of
I feel like the pace at which he's throwing is actually slightly slower than before, yes. But at the same time, I think Catterall's doing a very good job of conserving his energy, because you don't really see him with the same level of urgency that Taylor has right now. Catterall actually is really trying to just get as low as he can to avoid Taylor's hooks, for example, which was something that he's been doing consistently throughout the whole fight. But also, he's doing a very good job of tying Taylor up, which only frustrates Taylor and prevents prevents him from landing anything, which allows seconds of these rounds to keep ticking. Because ideally, Catterall just wants to get to the end of these rounds now. Probably he can win on points, providing that the judges aren't biased, of course.
That's a big body shot.
Yeah, very big body shot by Taylor.
There,
and Catterall, Catterall actually wincing. He definitely felt that. So exactly what Taylor wants. And actually, even though Taylor hasn't knocked down Catterall yet, I think he's probably winning this round so far, as there's 40 seconds left.
Agreed.
Catterall walking away and pouring at his eye. And there is obviously a
good uppercut from Catterall there.
Yeah, just saw that now. Yeah, and well, both fighters on the clinch again. Referee stepping in. My God, the amount of clinching is ridiculous. The referee can't even untie these fighters right now. He just needs to let
them get on with it. I think
20 seconds left of this 9th round, and Taylor having a much better round, but without a doubt being incredibly frustrated by how much Catterall is tying him up. Oh, referee stopping these two. Having a very stern word with both of them right now, telling them to stop bloody doing what they've been doing, which is probably back of the head punches by Taylor probably, and consistent tying up by Catterall. Yeah.
Or Josh Taylor saying to the crowd, "I won that round." It doesn't matter if he won that round; he's still behind.
True. So I believe he did win that round, but I do think he's still behind.
He's behind by 4. I think we've gone, haven't we?
Yeah. Well, now he's behind by 4. Got Catterall up by 4. So
you can see there's the highlights. There was like a straight left hand, which is a good left hand from Taylor, and then the body shot, a left hook to the body, and you can see Wince there. There was a liver shot, and you can see Catterall.
Yeah, you can see the pain that he's in.
He's knocked out someone like that, Taylor. So he's got a good left hook to the body,
and I'm sure that's going to have an impact on slowing down Catterall, because the body shots usually have an impact on slowing down your opponent fighter, right? So there's still round 10, 11, and 12 of this fight, right? So we've got 3 rounds, 10, 11, 3 rounds left of this fight. We've got Catterall up by 4 on the unofficial scorecard. So even if Taylor wins every single round, which he may very well do, and I have a feeling that Taylor's having a moment now where he might actually win every single round.
I think
maybe the judges' scorecards will actually mean that it's a draw, because you don't know how close the judges have got it. They might have the bias from the fact that there's Scots fans here. They might have a bias from the fact that Taylor's the better fighter with all the belts. I'll let you take on this 10th round.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think he needs to weather the storm here now. Richard's saying Catterall has to just see this out now. Is Catterall tired, says Matthew. He's looking like he's trying to survive and not engage. I think he's a little bit tired. I think he's definitely a little bit tired. I think the body shots would have, I think they would have, ended up taking some toll. He's thrown it more body shots than Catterall for sure. And I think what Catterall's going to have to do here, which you rightfully said, is I think he's going to have to weather the storm here a little bit. Richard said it as well. He's going to have to just use his boxing know-how. He's been pretty elusive with his head movement and also his body movement, getting out of distance, etc. He needs to make Taylor miss, really just let him punch himself out, and then come on strong in the either later parts of a round or even in the last round potentially, or last kind of round and a half, I would say, because this is it now. Taylor's looking for the kill. He's going to be going full throttle really every single round now. BB saying, good game, Taylor lost. Sorry for spoiler. We'll see. We'll see. Thanks for what you're on Twitch actually as well. So do follow us if you're watching on Twitch. On Twitter, do retweet and follow us, and same as well if you're on.
Oh my God! Is he ducking a point? Oh, he's ducked a point from Catterall.
That's ridiculous. Can I say something? That's outrageous, because he's talking about the headlocks. How many times has Taylor hit Catterall in the back of the head?
You know what? This is a game changer. Oh, wait, is he
bias?
Is he ducking a point? No, he's not. He's not ducking a point.
He's not. Or Catterall's coming out strong. I tell you what, that's out of order though. That's so basically now on our cards, if
could be a draw.
It could be a draw.
If Taylor wins every single round, it could be a draw. And I feel like Catterall is now. Wait, what's the referee doing now? My God, there's so much referee
looking to time on an unrushing Taylor. Needs to time him 100%. Matthew needs to counter. But this is so out of order though. I'm sorry.
I feel like Catterall is taking the urgency of the fight now to himself as well, because he feels like he might lose on points.
I think is now that will be in the back of his head, thinking, hold on, am I going to lose the fight because of that docked point now? See, this is what I mean. Like, it changes the complexion of the round and the fight, because he doesn't know what the scorecards are like. he knows that he's fighting away. See, look, so if Taylor's got him in a headlock, is he going to deduct him a point? He's been hitting him in the back of the head all night. Look at this, man. This is just unbelievable.
Hey, I mean,
you gotta be fair. You gotta be fair when you're.
You're right. You're right. You're right. But hey, look, this is good for Taylor. So I mean, if you're a Taylor fan, then
I'm not either. I actually am a big Taylor fan, but I'm not like a ultra
my
fan.
God,
that
this is a great fight, though. I
Look
have
at
to
this!
say.
What an uppercut from Catterall. Taylor oncoming, big wing hooks thrown by Taylor, didn't really land. Clipped maybe Catterall there. You can see there's a little bit of
my God,
a
another
cut
headlock
underneath Catterall's eye. And look at the cut on Taylor's not only got a cut here, he's got a cut on the side of his eye as well. That same eye. He's got 2 cuts there now. Catterall, if I was him, I'd be pinging off on that eye all day long. All day long. I'm sure that's what he's trying to do anyway. But obviously, I'm not Jack Catterall. But yeah,
I'd be pinging that eye.
Taylor.
easy peasy.
And Josh Taylor again says to the crowd, "Yeah, I won that round."
I think he did.
And I think he won it as well. Yeah,
that's a 10-8.
Why is it? Oh yeah, 10-8. Yeah, so then
the dot
technically,
point, so it's Catterall up by 2.
Catterall's up by 2, so Catterall needs to win one of the last 2 rounds now.
Mate, I think that
because
point.
I tell you what, if it's a draw on our unofficial scorecards, they will give it to Taylor.
I have a feeling, and I don't know how the fight's going to end, but my prediction now is split decision in favor of Taylor. I think that's how it's going to go.
Can I say something as well? The worst thing is that if he wins Taylor, he won't give him a rematch because he'll move up to welterweight.
And also because he probably doesn't want a rematch. That is a tough fight. That's a
why do you want
fight.
to rematch this? This is like look at what he's had to go through. Knocked down, getting like bashed up basically.
Yeah.
Richard says Catterall's definitely weary. Mo says since the knockdown, Catterall's gone completely defensive. He's given all the momentum away. Yeah, I think I agree. I think he's probably a little bit tired as well, but I think he needs to be clever. I think he probably wasn't expecting it, but he's having a chat with. He's telling him to sort out his eye. This is interesting. So he's just putting Vaseline on the eye, I guess.
I think if Catterall keeps going for that eye,
he needs to land with the left hook. The left hook hasn't been as effective.
If Catterall uses the left hook, I mean, he could end this fight. He could really end this fight.
Good jab by Catterall.
Yeah.
For
that. Yeah.
Well, look at feinting as well. 1-2 from Catterall, and Taylor just dips underneath it very well. He's definitely, you can tell, like, Josh Taylor's a 12-round fighter, right? He's not gassed at all. Looked a bit sluggish, and I think he was a bit surprised by how well Catterall was boxing, to be fair, and moving especially.
Again, neck wrapping around the neck there by Taylor this time, but no points docked.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did he hit him in the back of the head as well? But anyway, and also a punch, just punching Catterall's back there, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Either way, backhand thrown by Catterall doesn't land though. Taylor doing well. He's got Catterall up against the ropes in a clinch again. Catterall clinching when he knows that he's in trouble, right? So he just clinches, which is not a bad. In terms of a defensive technique, it's not a bad way of doing it. Again, this time there's a headlock, and that's only a headlock there. So he's gone to throw the left hook, and he's just over. He's just overcooked that really, or overthrown it, and in the end goes around the back. Yeah, Taylor trying to tee up his own backhand in the corner there. Catterall doing well to dance around. Josh Taylor get out of that corner. Saeed says Catterall's going to get robbed. Might do, man. He might do.
He might actually. If Taylor wins this round and the next round, I have a feeling he might get robbed. Catterall.
Yeah, I think he will as well. Guys, well, thanks for tuning in. Do remember to smash the like button if you don't mind as well, and subscribe if you're new. Thanks for tuning in, you legends. Appreciate it. Left hook thrown by Taylor. Don't think that landed. Catterall throws a left hook to the body as well. Again, I don't think it landed as well. Marcus says, well done, boys. Next time, get your time lapse sorted. Great commentary. 10 out of 10. Thank you. Appreciate it, Marcus. Yeah, we will do. It's tough, right, when you're watching it on different streams, but I appreciate it. I definitely will try to. Or wrestling there in the corner. And again, he's got his back turned, Josh Taylor. The ref is probably thinking, I was not paid to do this much work. Clinch again. So 30 seconds of this 11th round. I'm not really sure I'd give this to. I think Taylor's definitely been the busier, but not really a huge amount thrown. Flush, I'd say actually the one with the most eye-catching shots was Catterall, but they've been jabs, and then Taylor just wrestling Catterall to the ground. What is going on?
Well,
This is becoming an interesting
my
fight.
God, yeah, it is intense. The level of intensity in this fight is mad. Do you think he's going to dock him? No.
No, he won't dock him. Forget it. He's the home fighter. He doesn't want to get booed, the ref. That's what it is. Most of Taylor actually looking like his energy levels have gone up since the knockdown. I think he's woken him up. I think the level of urgency is there. The knockdown wasn't one that he wasn't hurt or wobbled, like his legs weren't gone. It was a flush knockdown. Like he basically got hit. And yeah, off balance. Ooh, Taylor throwing after the bell then. He's docked a point from Taylor. He's docked a point from Taylor because he threw after the bell. Good.
That's it. Taylor's lost this fight.
So Taylor should lose now, in my opinion.
Taylor's definitely lost this fight.
So now Catterall's 2 up on our cards.
In my opinion,
that was a stupid thing to do as well.
That's a 10-8 to. Let me think. That's a 10-8 to Catterall. You know why? Because I think Catterall won.
You think Catterall won that round?
I think Catterall won that round.
Then you've got him 3 up. Then you've got him 3 up. Danny Drew says Josh Taylor's overrated. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's a really good fighter. I just think everyone can have a bad night in the office or get beaten. It happens, but we'll see. We'll see whether he even loses this. Marcus says, are you covering DAZN tonight? So DAZN's actually tomorrow. Is the Coley fight is tomorrow night. It's Sunday night. Horace says Catterall's just got to survive. Rich says, how dumb was that point off? Max says that was a harsh point off by the rip. You can't punt after the bell, but I do agree. I think normally that wouldn't be given. But he should have been docked a point for the amount of times he hit him on the back of the head, to be fair. So here we go. Last round.
I'll let you take this last one.
Stalking into the corner. Catterall gets out of the way there. No punches thrown flush here at all. We're seeing here, look, in a clinch. Then a 1-2 thrown by Catterall. Josh Taylor does well to duck underneath it and then get into the clinch. And there's 2 minutes 35 left of this last round. Catterall does look a bit weary. He looks a bit tired. He just needs to survive this. And I think he's won this, to be honest. Needs to make sure he doesn't get dropped or hurt. If he loses a round, doesn't matter. If I'm him, I'm kind of dancing around the ring. But again,
Taylor looks terrified, honestly.
Yeah, Taylor just he's really going for it. You can see just kind of ducking down, trying to wing those body shots in and then go body and head. He's just not able to. Catterall's being elusive enough. Look good. 1-2 from Catterall. The backhand does land. And Taylor felt it, gets into the clinch. And 2 minutes left now of this last round. And I think you've got Catterall up 3. I've got him up 2.
I've got him up 4.
You got him up 4. Okay, I've got him up 2, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. I think I gave that last round to Taylor. But obviously 9-9 in the end because of what happened. But so even. Jab thrown by Catterall doesn't land though. He's just pouring away. It covers up on the ropes and then ducks underneath nicely. Times the her movement well. He just anticipated when Taylor was going to throw into the clinch. Now, if I'm Catterall, I'm just hugging on for dear life. Literally hugging on for dear life.
1 minute 30, and you take all those belts.
Yeah, clinching good. Left hook thrown from Catterall. Left hook thrown from Taylor, but Catterall ducks underneath it really nicely. Then a jab thrown by Catterall. I just know at the end of this round as well, no matter doesn't matter whether he doesn't drop him or not, and if he loses this round, Josh Taylor would definitely put his hands up to say, I've won this fight. 100%. He's just that type of guy. I mean, he thought he'd destroyed Prograis in that fight, and it was a very, very close one.
Although he looks very desperate right now, doesn't he, Taylor?
Yeah, left hook thrown by Taylor. It's a good left hook, though. It's not flush, but it's glancing. A huge left hook thrown. Catterall gets out of the way nicely. Then another clinch. 45 seconds left of this last round. And this is going to be interesting to see what the judges have. Really good uppercut thrown from Catterall. Good combination. Then manages to get into the clinch. Very good from Catterall there. Very, very good. 30 seconds left of this last round now. That's it. For me, I think it should be do or die for Taylor. Oh, here we go into the clinch again. He's doing well here, Catterall. It doesn't matter if it's boring. It's the last round. It could be the difference between him becoming undisputed champion, not just a world champion, undisputed world champion, and losing this fight. Doesn't want to get clipped with anything in the last 10 seconds here. Taylor's going to come out swing. He just needs to swing for the heels, Taylor, now. Oh, they blow. Hey, hold on. Hey, they sounded the bell, but there was like 8 seconds left.
Yeah, I
That's
saw
early.
that as well, but it doesn't matter. I
And Jack
think
Catterall
Catterall's.
screams, says, "Yeah, I've won that." And Josh Taylor puts his
Yes,
gloves up.
I'm
He
sure.
hasn't won that. He surely hasn't won.
Wow,
Especially
I
with the
cannot believe this. He's actually gone to Scotland and beaten their man.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You say that. We need to see
I'm
what the
sure.
scorecards are.
I gave him that round as well, Catterall.
Yeah, I gave him that round,
So
definitely.
he's up by 5. So unless somehow the judges have got it completely different to what I've got it as, 100%, I'm sure Catterall's won this fight, and he's taken all those belts away. Do
Look
they
at
have a
those cuts.
rematch clause before
So
I even?
I would assume that they probably do, but again,
I hope so.
he will say, "I can't make the weight." I think because I think he was
That
already
is
looking to
a
go up to 147. So I think win
horrible
or lose, I
way.
think he'll go up to 147.
Horrible way to vacate your belts, though, right? By losing them.
Considering that he's never lost before, and as I said, the combined record of fighters he's fought in the past, in terms of
Yeah.
caliber of opponents, were on paper a lot better than Jack Catterall, and I think it was like 101. Matthew says, "Oh no, it's a
gifted.
mandatory, so
Oh,
no
yeah,
rematch
true.
clause." Although to be fair, not all some rematch clauses do have rematch clauses in it because the promoter puts it in, but technically you don't need one. Yeah. So I would assume there isn't one in there just because Taylor would have been confident he's going to win and just move on as well. To be fair, let's
True.
see though. I don't have the sound on, so I'll kind of rely on
I'll
you
put the sound on for me
to tell me what's going on. But
if Catterall doesn't win this, it's a robbery in my opinion. Like
yeah, I agree.
I think he's won this fight quite clearly. What a gift for Catterall to receive, to have this fight just before Taylor assumedly moves up to a new weight division to take all these belts.
Can you hear that? I've put my volume up. Can you hear that or not?
No.
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, I can listen as well.
Yeah, I can't hear it.
They're just saying, Matthew Macklin's just saying, I think they think he's won, Jack Catterall, those.
I'm sure he has, yeah. You read out the scores then if you can hear it, because I think you're slightly ahead of me.
Okay. So Lauren, I don't know who that is, but I think that's Jack Catterall's wife or girlfriend, obviously, like
Probably.
really happy.
She looks very happy, doesn't she?
Yeah, very happy, yeah.
Looks like she won the lottery. She looks very, very happy.
Yeah, well, she would have, to be fair, because she's getting a bit of that cash, mate. That's why she's getting a cut.
We do not endorse these statements on quality shot, and they should not be construed as meaning anything.
As reflective of the channel's views, political views. Mate, I'll tell you what as well, this is a big, big win if he gets this.
Yeah.
It really is. And there'll be some big fights out there.
It reminds me of, I know it's not the same, but it reminds me of,
Campbell,
you know how people think Amir Khan's going to beat Kell Brook and then it doesn't happen, and now everyone thinks that Taylor was going to beat Catterall and it doesn't happen, right? But it's not similar at all. But it's like
these guys are. You know what it's like? No. I think it's more like Cambosos and Lopez, or Lopez and Loma. No, it's more like Lopez and Loma.
It's an upset. Is the point that I'm trying to make? It's an upset.
Do you know when Lopez beat Loma? That was a huge upset. I feel like this is very, very similar because Loma was seen as the guy, right?
Yeah.
Same Taylor. Taylor was unbeaten. He'd cleaned up at this weight class, won the Muhammad Ali trophy, beating so many people. Richard says the look on Taylor's face, you can see he lost it.
Come to the scorecards.
Here you go.
Can't be a robbery. Come on.
Let's see. Here you go. 113, 112 Catterall, Howard Foster.
Oh, that is closer than we have it.
114, 111 to Taylor, second judge.
Oh my god! 114, 111 Taylor. What the frick?
113, 112. Split decision, 130, 112. They've given it to Josh Taylor. What an absolute joke. What an absolute joke. That is a robbery. That is a
total and complete robbery, bro. That's a robbery. That's a robbery, man.
That's a robbery, bro. The UK, all judging in the UK is a joke.
That's a robbery. Richard says, what? Exactly. That is a robbery. That's a robbery, man. I'm sorry. Like, I respect Taylor, and I thought he was going to win the fight. So it's not like I'm biased towards Catterall, but we scored that very carefully. And
Look at Taylor. He's
without a
barely
doubt,
talking to Catterall because he's embarrassed. He should be embarrassed. He lost that fight.
I'm. And even the commentator right now, you can hear him saying Jack Catterall should be the undisputed champion here. Even he's saying it's a robbery. I mean, why does this is not good for the sport? This is never good for the sport when you get these robberies. It's just not appropriate for something like this to happen. I mean, we had it. I think you had Catterall up by maybe 2 or 3. I had him up by 5. 5 I had him up by. Because Taylor got docked a point and he got knocked down twice. And Catterall, you can see, he's absolutely devastated. He's probably
He's
in a means of protesting, has left the arena, and he's still turning around and putting his hands up because he really believes that he won that fight, and he did. He did win that fight. I don't know what Taylor's thinking right now, but he doesn't deserve to have won that fight. That's
Taylor
a robbery.
Lost. Richard says utter robbery. Saeed says boxing is a joke. Random Matrix. Taylor won fair and square. I
think Random Matrix is trolling.
Random Matrix. To be fair, look. To be honest with you, like if he's being serious, like if you think he won, then maybe you're looking at something else, and you think you see it sometimes. No, but like some people can see that. I think, in our opinion, he definitely didn't win.
He did not win.
I genuinely love Josh Taylor the way he fights.
But you know what? This is great for Taylor because he maintains an undefeated record.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, after that showing, even when he moves up to 147, Crawford will knock him out. I'm sorry, but Richard says double the landed punches and knockdown. Harris says robbery. Random says Jack lost because he's a boring bastard. Boxing is like politics. Harris says, "What is this bull?" Random says, "Josh's Mars classier, of course." He says he's trolling. Fair enough. I didn't watch it. Says I listened to the radio. Fair enough. Harris says, "How is Taylor even celebrating?" Well, of course
he has to pretend. He has to pretend that he actually deserved to have won. And you know what? The thing is, he's with Scottish fans, so they don't give a damn whether it's a robbery, right? Okay, that's me judging Scottish fans, but it's their boy,
but all they want is their man to win.
They want their man to win at the end of the day, by any means necessary, and he's won, and therefore, instead of the crowd booing everyone, what's Johnny Nelson saying, by the way?
Hold on, he's saying he feels so sorry for Jack Catterall.
Yeah, he thinks it was a robbery.
He says it turns the Catterall fans off boxing.
Yeah, so Nelson thinks it's a robbery, and he's happy to mention it while he's in the Bloomin' Stadium arena as well.
But Josh is a superstar. Josh is a superstar, but you don't win a fight because you're the superstar. You win, but you have to win, right? You have to win because you've been a better fighter on the night. You can't win because of status.
Wow.
Richard says Taylor won every round. Very good. You're putting casual fans off the sport because of these things. It's so true. It's true. Rob Dill's glory facts. History now weighs Johnny Nelson saying, "No, you don't." Yeah, it definitely puts fans off. It does. I mean, it does. Like, I'm getting sick of it. We're getting sick of it, and it's not just this fight. There's been lots of fights.
This is upsetting. Honestly, like.
Let's hear what Josh says.
Yeah, I bet he's gonna say I won it.
Of course, he's asking, did he believe he did enough? He asked him, "Do you think you did enough?" And he goes, "Certainly." I started a bit slow. What? He says he was trying to spoil a lot. Harris says, "Man's waffling." Random mentions, "We live in a clown reality now." Taylor undisputed decision. Gonzo says, "I'm done with boxing. This is an absolute joke of robbery. This has happened way too many times. And this is a straw that breaks the camel's back." Can I say something? This is a disgrace. Like, not just this, but the amount, I'm not joking, the amount of decisions that we've seen that have gone the other way, I just can't believe it. I just genuinely cannot believe it. It's happened over the past year and a half. Some of the decisions are just unbelievable, like to watch.
I've considered Random Matrix's comments. I actually think Taylor did win. this
Shut
fight.
up, stop
I actually,
trolling.
you know what? I don't think it was Catterall up by 5. I actually think it was Taylor up by 5.
Taylor up by 5, yeah.
I must have been writing the wrong name at the time. I was too
Randoms
enamored.
like you are already. You know, we love Scottish people with a shut up. But don't,
Can you
don't
imagine?
try-
Can you
don't
read
go
the
to
next
low blows
comment?
there. Yeah, no, unbelievable.
That's
I score the
actually
bigger
really
shots, the
just
better shots. Did you? Can I say something?
Yeah.
He said he just said he scored the bigger shots, the better shots. Like, you know what the commentator should say? Hold on, wait, hold on.
Oh, you were listening to something.
Or the interviewer said, "Can I say something to you?
Hmm?
Fair play to him." He says the general consensus online is that Jack Catterall won the fight.
Yeah, obviously.
And when Josh Taylor, but he openly said it to Josh Taylor, which is good. And then Josh Taylor said, when he said about the bigger, better shots, the interviewer should say, "Do you want to look at your face compared to Jack's, and then tell me that you had the bigger shots?" Dumb. It's not his fault, right? It's not Josh Taylor's fault because he doesn't score the fight. Richards believes 100% he got the win. Sure. Hart says, "Now the other guy worked so hard, waited long, and is robbed." Josh said he made the weight pretty well, but he'll move up, I think.
He needs to. He's going to move up.
Brendan says, "I'm a pro fact checker. I work for Sade." Fair enough. Mojo Risen says, "I'm totally embarrassed by that result. Jack deserves those belts. Apologies for this utter disgraceful decision." Mojo, it's not your fault, mate. And it's not.
It's not your fault, mate.
I'm going to be completely honest with you as well. It's not Josh Taylor's fault either. Josh Taylor is a bit of a moron for saying that, because a lot of fighters, to be fair, if they do think they lost the fight, they will actually say it was a very close fight, could have gone either way. He said, "I think
Really?
I did enough." Yeah, I've seen a lot of fighters do it, to be fair.
But
And not this brazen as well. Josh Taylor's very arrogant, not in a bad way, but like he's very confident in himself.
true, but Taylor wouldn't say, "Oh, I think I lost that fight," right?
No, he wouldn't say
And
that. But
no
Muhammad,
boxer would say that.
But
No boxer
Muhammad,
would
but
say that.
you don't have to say, "I think I lost the fight." You can say, "I can see
He
why it
fought a
could have
good
gone either way."
fight, and it was a tough
Like he
one.
put up a really tough fight. I can see why it might have gone either way. But I was lucky enough to. I'm grateful for getting the win. But he didn't say
you know
that.
what? This will annoy Catterall even more, knowing that in the post-fight interview, Taylor's saying that he definitely did enough, and he doesn't even properly acknowledge what Catterall had done. Like if I'm Catterall, I'd have a breakdown. Honestly, I'd be like,
Can I say something as well?
This is
What's really
what's
unfair,
the sport about then? It's completely
he's
unfair.
lost this. He's worked really hard to get into this position, and he's lost. What are you supposed to do now?
No more motivation, honestly.
He has
kind
to
of
work his
motivation
way
can you
back
have?
up, right? He has to work his way back up. He's not a huge personality. He's not a huge draw. He's worked his way into this position to now get this shot, and now he's being shot down. He doesn't have the name. He doesn't have the pool. He's going to be in the wilderness now. Good luck. Like, it's so unfortunate. Richard says this channel should be renamed Quality Shock. Random says I scored it by post. Random says the ref was shocking. It was Howard Foster all over again. Howard Foster actually was, ironically, one of the judges, but he didn't. He gave it to Catterall. He's the one judge that gave it to Catterall, Howard Foster. Normally, it's him that's terrible. He gave it to Catterall. 113, 112. Yeah. Richard says, I agree with Fazan. Taylor could have said that, say it was close, not 100% he won. Agreed. And Random says, rewatch boys, you'll see Josh won. Oh, mate, I don't think I will, but yeah, it was a good fight, though. It was a really good fight. It really was. Yeah. Really, really good fight. Just unfortunate that, in our eyes, anyway, the right man didn't get the fight. Or get the win. Sorry, even. Well, here we go. Jamie Moore's here. Let's listen to Jamie Moore. He's the trainer for Jack Catterall.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
I think Natasha Jonas, who's commentating, she just won her world title last week, and she has actually been robbed before as well. She should have beaten Terry Harper, and for a world title, she didn't get it the decision, so she'll be able to relate. He is so angry. He said he stepped aside to give them the undisputed fight. Ram says, boys, thank you for the stream. No problem. And I went link in their pockets. Thank you, random. Guys, as well, if you did like this, do remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
That's it, mate. I think I'm moving on to UFC.
You want to do UFC on here?
I need to start learning about leg breaks and
grappling.
triangle neck freaking I don't know, but I'm gonna have to start learning about UFC, mate, because I think boxing is
it's not
no
that
longer a
it's
legitimate
the
sport.
UK shows. It's not all of them as well, but
that's such a robbery, mate, especially in the UK of all places. Disappointing.
But it's happened in the UK. It's been happening in the UK more than anywhere else in the last year or so. Random says you need to learn boxing politics. I know boxing politics. I'm just hoping that judges shouldn't be affected by it.
This is ridiculous, you know. Just what are these judges trained in, by the way? Like, I don't even know, like, how do they come to become judges? They have to like do some exams or something. How do they get there?
Yeah. I think so. It's qualification.
Well, what do these exams bloody teach them? They don't know how to score fights, do they? We haven't done any exams. It's quite clearly that
dude, Howard
Catterall
Foster gave it to Catterall. It wasn't the issue this time.
Who are the other two?
I've forgotten their names, to be honest with you.
I might find out.
And DM them. Mark was going to DM them.
Let's get them on to Quality Shot and
mate,
have an interview.
Go for it, mate. You should contact them and yeah, I'll do it. Give them the names. I'll message them.
Wow. Robbery. I don't know if I'd ever come back if I was Catterall. Like, that's really disappointing.
So sad. Oh, he's red in the face.
He's probably going to be severely depressed, Catterall, to be perfectly honest. Like, he the thing is, everyone thinks that he's
people have taken a step away because they can't believe what they've seen. Let's see what the promoter says. Ben Shalom. Can I say something? Ben Shalom, fair play to him, said, I'm embarrassed because I'm promoting this event. And he said, I can't see how they gave it 114-111 to Jack Catterall. So he's very new to this. He doesn't need
done very well, by the way. He's really doing well as a promoter on the scene.
Yeah, agreed.
He obviously promoted the Khan Brook fight as well. So
he's no Eddie Hearn, but still, you know.
Yeah,
no context Hearn.
He's doing all right.
He's not bad. He's a different. He's more kind of.
I think he tells the truth more.
But no one wants that.
Wow, I think the fact that everyone basically thinks Catterall was robbed, I think is a big deal.
Is probably indicative, even of what actually happened.
And that's very good for Catterall as well, in a way.
Well, random says Josh's next fight is in America, then retire. He won't move up; he'll get KO'd. If he moves up to face Crawford, he'll get knocked out, 100%. Sorry, Mohammad, you're saying something.
Good night, Random Matrix. Good night, mate. Just for that comment. But yeah, I mean, I think it's one thing where you get robbed and people say, it could have gone either way, so I can see how the judges made that decision. And there's another thing where you get robbed and basically everyone, including all the different pundits and people who weren't even backing you at the beginning of the fight, also think you were robbed. And I think that will hopefully be, if there's absolutely any form of compensation for Jack Catterall, then maybe that's it. But it's still not the belts that he should have won. It's still not the increase of his win number in terms of how many fights he's won. It still isn't going to erase the loss on his record that he doesn't deserve to have. So it's very unfortunate, and it still doesn't assist him with the ability to take on bigger and better fights and to increase his purse. Because of the fact that, oh my God, there's actually quite a lot of people hating on. Is that Taylor walking out, and a lot of people disliking him? He actually got quite a lot of people shouting at him, to be honest, as he left. Because I feel like there's people in the crowd also think that Catterall was robbed.
Do you know what? I personally think is I genuinely think your door is just flapping. Random Matrix, are you a troll? Says he will rematch Regis in America then retire. He won't give Regis program a rematch. Thing is, if I was him, I would give well, I wouldn't, right? But well, I'm not him anyway. But Josh Taylor, if he does the right thing, he gives Jack Catterall the rematch. If he's able to make the weight okay, which he says that he is, but it probably will be his last fight at light welterweight.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. This is just It was a one-sided fight.
Well, Taylor can only hope that people will forget about this. The amount of comments on my door handle. Is it moving that much?
It's not moving at all. He's just
It might be. It might be. The reason why is because it got fitted recently, so it might be a bit loose. To be fair. No, I'm serious.
He's in your head, mate. It's not moving. I can see it from here.
Well, I'm sure.
Look at him. Look,
he's
just trolling you.
Mate. Oh, is he actually trolling me? Well, okay, good. I'm glad the door handle's all right then.
Don't be
glad the door handle's all right, mate.
You flapping about. He's just
he's
saying as if someone's gonna walk in.
It leads to the bathroom. I don't know who's in the bathroom, mate. Jack's ghost in the bathroom, haunting me, mate. You got a cat? I actually have cats. Yeah, I have cats, but my cats are not in the bathroom.
Spooky. God, random Matrix in your house, mate. He's the one that's going to open the door.
Random Matrix saying goodnight and then trying to prevent me from getting murdered in my own home, which I appreciate.
Josh is on his way, indeed.
Josh is. Man, that's disappointing. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this.
It's really disappointing. It's
I feel like going onto social media and seeing what
I've gone to Twitter straight away.
What they're saying?
Robbery.
It is a robbery.
Guys, follow us on Twitter, Quality Shot 1. Why
not Quality Shot?
Because then it wasn't available. Someone had taken it apparently. So Quality Shot 1, as in the number 1. Sorry, you're better than the radio. So I've now got 3 digits on Twitter. I'm happy about
that. Oh yeah, okay.
Hit the 3 digits.
Absolutely disgusting decision. I'm just reading some of these.
Ah, dear. Right, I think we should. We'll probably now wrap.
Didn't I say that it would be a split decision? But that was at a point where I thought that it was still shaky. But we got to a point where I thought there was absolutely, without a doubt, no way that Catterall was going to lose the fight. And the reason why is because number one, Taylor got docked that point, and number two, instead of Taylor winning those last 3 rounds, which is what was required in order for some sort of crazy split decision to happen in this manner, Taylor didn't win those last 3 rounds. So there was at least two points in there that went to Catterall that tipped the likelihood of there being a split decision robbery, but it still happened for some reason. I think we're going to wrap things up. I think we're getting a bit depressed.
Let's wrap it up. Well, if you leave the studio, I'll just leave it on for a bit. Bye. No, I'm going to go as well.
All right, bye everyone. We are leaving the studio and letting this run for a bit, allowing you some time to wallow in the sadness
and to like and
of
subscribe.
Today's robbery split decision.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Take care, everyone. Good night.